Lead it off. Ronnie Teague is our home plate umpire tonight. It is a perfect night for baseball in Gainesville, Florida. And we thank you for being with us as well. And the first pitch grooves the outside edge for a strike, and that's a good way to start the outing for Brandon Neely. Larry has 2 home runs on the year, and that open stance swings and misses on the second offering.
And one thing about Larry's amazing getting hit with pitches. Been hit 9 times already this season.
Kind of helps that on-base percentage. And he's down on strikes to begin the night here in game 1 of this set.
Got him with the off-speed sliders. Got him ahead in the count, got him the chase. And one thing I saw at this Mississippi State club last week against Texas A&M, they were susceptible chasing pitches all weekend.
State's batting .297 on the year. Slugging percentage at about .460. They have 28 home runs. That's a boost from last year. They just didn't have any punch in last year in their lineup. As that one drops in there for strike 1 to David Mershon, their shortstop.
This guy's a fun little player, Mershon.
Not only is he batting .348, he's also error-free in the field as their shortstop. And Neely's way out in front of the second hitter as well, 0-2, and Mershon's going to take his time here, tightening everything up before stepping back in. He's a switch hitter. And the 0-2. Wouldn't chase.
You saw Mershon tap his chest. All the Mississippi State players are going to do that with 2 strikes when they look in the dugout to their teammates.
Actually, a few SEC teams do that as well, yeah.
And battery made for Neely tonight is Tanner Garrison. Gators catcher, who's basically nailed down the #1 job, has been outstanding defensively. It's a Mississippi State team that will run if they get on board, and we'll see if they test Garrison tonight. The 1-2. That one's out of play. New baseball for Neely.
Now, Mershon's a guy that can run. I had him sub-4 going down the line. He's got 2 oven mitts. He's got something around his ankles. He's also wearing something. He's got like 9 pounds of stuff, and he's still running under 4 down to first base.
He's got plans, apparently. 1-2. Another one out of play.
He's got all the gear. He's Iron Man.
Yeah, he's got the Hunter Pence pants on.
And he's got a flow like nobody else on that team.
There is no lack of swag in the batter's box right now, boys.
And look at the bat. The bat's got swag.
Mississippi State 18-8 coming into tonight's play. 3-3 in Southeastern Conference play. 500 team on the road at 2-2. And speaking of the road, this weekend will wrap up a 7-game road trip for the Bulldogs. 1-2 to Mershon. Just missed.
90-mile-an-hour slider. Neely's pumped.
Yeah, he's kind of, ever since he's moved into that closer role, he's really tried to open up his arsenal and give a little bit different looks with his slider and off-speed pitches.
There's Colby Shelton, the shortstop. 2 away.
That's a good sign from Neely right here. He's throwing all of his off-speed stuff for strikes. He's locating his heaters where he wants to and gets a hard out, and Mershon to get his second out of the inning.
In 10 career starts, Neely is 2-3 with a 3.60 earned run average. And now the test in Dakota Jordan. The numbers jump off the screen. Jordan leads them in team batting average, home runs, RBI. His 38 RBI now ranked 9th in the NCAA. 0-1 to Jordan. And a hot shot on one hop to Kaggs. He remains error-free this season, and it's a 3-3 of the year for the Gators, 39 runs. But they had also allowed an opponent-high 27 runs in first innings this season. As Shelton's first pitch swinging, hammers this one out in the left center. It's going to hang up a little bit, and there is Hyzak to make the catch. So 1 away. So Neely throws up a 0 in the top half of the first. So we take that storyline away, the 27 runs scored by Gators opponents. Can the Gators offensively get off to a fast start? 1 gone, and that brings up Ty Evans.
I think that's why they shifted up in the lineup a little bit. You see the Gators have struggled a lot in that haven't really won a whole lot of games if they don't score in the first inning. So they've moved their best players like a Colby Shelton, Ty Evans, the hottest guys, Caglione, to all get them to the plate in the first innings to really set the tone. to really try to put themselves, a leg up of their opponent, score more runs, and get ahead and try to get that win on a Friday night.
1-0 pitch to Evans, right down the heart.
And I think what's important too is the lack of strikeouts early in the inning and early in the lineup, because there's a stat out there now that it really describes the strikeouts that you're seeing in Major League Baseball all the way through college.
Evans in the last 14 games is batting .433 and has 4 home runs during that same stretch.
And he's truly been a game changer. I mean, we talked about it earlier, Sean, where that one at bat at LSU on Saturday.
That's going to make a bid. Out to right field. Adios. Home run. Ty Evans. 7th of the year. Gators are on the board.
Staying hot. Tybo got that fastball middle of the plate. Didn't do too much with it. Stayed inside the ball. And hey, Nick, he hit it to right field where the wind's blowing today. So got the Gators on the board early and got out to a good start.
And that's the one thing. They're going to have him pitch the way the wind dictates it. And this is one where he does a great job, a little inside-out action. And that shows you all the power that he has. Goes away, keeps his hands back, and just inside-outs it right out of the yard.
And, Steven really attacks with his heater. He has good off-speed stuff, but he really tries to get ahead. He really tries to beat you with your heater and says, hey, here's my best stuff. Go ahead and hit it. We'll see if you can hit it.
Now, it's going to be interesting, Sean, how he's going to go after Kaggs, because against Braden, last week with Texas A&M, he just attacked him in.
Caglione gets it in on his hands, and off the handle of the bat, it is grounded to second and into the shift. Caglione retired for the second out.
Yeah, and that's how he pitched Montgomery last week with Texas A&M, and he was successful doing it when he pounded him in.
So I'll bring up Tyler Sheldon now with 2 outs and nobody on. Hey, look, Sheldon's, I don't want to slight Sheldon here in the conversation we've been having about Evans and Caglione, because Tyler Sheldon has been really in a good spot right now, too, batting .306. And these first 4 in the lineup all have an OPS of higher than 1.2. And Sheldon is doing it with extra base hits, 18 of them now on the season. So the 0-1 from Steven is a good one on the outer edge.
Yeah, the first 4 hitters for the Gators, 3 out of the 4 are slugging over 700, and Ty Evans just below that.
Purdue transfer, Cal Steven. That home run he gave up was just the 5th that he's given up all year, and he seemed to be unfazed for baseball, as they say. And we go to the second, 1-0 Florida, and nearly back to work, starting with Hunter Hines. He grabs the outside corner for strike 1. Hines out of Madison, Mississippi. He is a home run threat, 7 now on the season. And he ropes one into right center field for the first hit of the game for Mississippi State.
That's all he's been doing the last couple of weeks. He had 3 home runs against LSU that series 2 weekends ago, 2 last week against A&M, and he continues to stay hot.
Well, I'll bring up Connor Hysak. Sitting .357 over the last 10 games. .341 overall in the season. And they'll look for the double play ball up the middle. The Gators have turned 9 double plays now on the year. That number bumped up last weekend at LSU. And then, of course, there was the midweek game against Florida State in Jacksonville, and the kind of a roller coaster ride right now for the Gators and their fans. Hysak shoots this one out of play. Midweek games 3 and 5 come into tonight in SEC play 5 and 3 with 2 top 5 wins. Home against Texas A&M, on the road at LSU. Some highs and lows right now for Kevin O'Sullivan, his staff, and this roster to work through. And guys, we'll be about the halfway point of the season when we get through with this weekend. So with that being said, I think all of us who follow this team look for them to maybe try and calm the waters, level the ship here a little bit. Maybe it doesn't seem as dramatic as some fans would say.
I think this weekend is such a litmus test to answer all of that.
Neely's second strikeout of the night. Hysak down on strikes, 1 away.
And to your point right there, Nick, I mean, you talk about this being the key factor in kind of minimizing that thought of, who are we as a program, who are we as a team this year. That's kind of how it's been for the last 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, they haven't done well in the midweek games. They look like a top 5 team on the weekends, and then they've either played up or down to their competition, so to say. I mean, obviously played a really good Florida State in the midweek and got beat, but you have to show some sort of consistency, like you just said, Sean. Don't be too high, not too low. Like, you come out to the park, you're the same team every day.
This is Aaron Downs, the left fielder from Mississippi State. It's up near the armpits, and Neely's behind seemingly for the first time in this outing. 2-0 count with 1 out and 1 on. Working from the stretch, not a problem for a guy like Neely, who is often called upon to come in with traffic on the base paths. As the Gators closer, and we're talking about an All-American last year, 2-1. Good dig there by Garrison.
There's a lot of things that Neely can bring from that closer role that he was in and even started the year out and that he can bring into the starter role. He has experience in both, but those pressure situations, being uncomfortable when situations are uncomfortable, or being comfortable when situations are uncomfortable, I should say. There's a lot of things that he can do to bring to the team and experience to the mound on a Friday night that you desperately need to set the tone for the weekend.
Downs has been susceptible for a pitch up and away. He's been able to get him to chase that pitch.
Payoff delivery. We'll do it all over again. When Brandon Neely is going right, what is the tell?
His tempo. Absolutely his tempo. He gets the ball. He doesn't question anything. Whatever pitches he gets or whatever pitch he gets called, he gets on the mound, he gets it, and he goes, and he commits to it. When he does that, he's on. When he doesn't do that, he's a little shaky. I mean, I thought about it earlier this week about his previous start against Mississippi State there. He didn't have that mentality.
Lifted out in the left, and Sheldon's going to play it on a hop.
Yeah, he just didn't see it off the bat. Hit off the end of the bat, and he thought it was going to travel more than it did, and just didn't get a good jump on it.
Yeah, I don't think he saw it either. I mean, he came in kind of slow. That sun is beaming right off the top of the roof right now. Tough to see. Good job with 2 strikes and a pretty deep count for Downs.
You see Sheldon in the sun there, and he is looking into the shade. The infield, with the exception of basically Shelton at short, is in the shadows now. And something cooking here for the Bulldogs. 2 on, 1 out. Kohler at the plate.
That's a good point, Sean. I mean, as an outfielder, when you're looking into the shade, a lot of times you can't get the good read off the bat. Plus, when it hits off the end of the bat, sometimes it still has the same sound of a ball that's closer to the barrel. So that can happen to anybody out there.
Harrison blocks the 0-1. We're even a ball and a strike. Kohler without a home run this year. And that's exactly what we were just talking about.
And now a few weeks into daylight savings time, too, you're playing a 6:30 game where previously it was dark at this time, where you didn't have those shadows. You're already under the lights. I mean, it's a huge factor that people don't necessarily see.
Kohler follows one right into the home plate area. We've seen the last couple of batters here, BT, against Neely. When they fouled it off, they've driven it straight down and it squirts away from home plate.
Yeah, he's a sinker slider guy, but he can also run it up in the zone. He kind of morphed his game as a closer to be able to do that, to get swings and misses, but he is truly a sinker slider guy. There it is right there.
Strikeout number 3 for Neely. 2 gone here in the top of the second.
Yeah, goes slider beforehand, gets that front door sinker on the inside of his hip. Man, that's tough as a lefty to see that, recognize it, and I mean, looking at he's jumping out of the way. It's a good pitch with 2 strikes by Neely.
So well executed. Again, 2 on. The lead runner is Hines at second. Downs aboard at first, each with a single. Now the 8-hole hitter in the Bulldogs lineup is Bryce Chance, their designated hitter. Bouncing ball, charging. Shelton will go to first with it. And Bulldogs won that series 2 out of 3 back in 19.
Jake Mangum on that team.
Cade Kerwin to start things in the bottom of the second. Swing and a miss on the first offering here by Cal Steven, whose only blemish right now is the Ty Evans home run. Kerwin, good numbers again as a sophomore. The strikeouts, guys, too high. 31 coming into today's game. Dribbles this one to the left side.
Yeah, and I was talking about that too. They do stats now. This one stat, BABIP, which is batting average with balls in play, and just to give you an idea, it's a huge difference. I mean, the Gators are hitting what, 283, batting average with balls in play, they're hitting 387.
That one's belted into Mershon's mitt. Spins, throws. Wow, what a play. David Mershon, again, error-free this year at short for Mississippi State, makes an absolute dazzling stop here.
And he wasn't even their starter at shortstop in the season again. He kind of morphed into that role. He made a play on a shift going into foul territory at Texas A&M last week. That was a highlight reel play, and that one not too far behind.
We talked about the Gators defensively. Mississippi State, not bad either. Just 2 more errors on the year.
And
And
get back to
the DH misses on the first.
Yeah, the point about the strikeouts, Mississippi State's 297. Their batting average balls hit and play 373. So, I mean, such a big difference just putting the ball in play. If you could reduce that 10%, you could up your team batting average, what, a good 15 points?
That's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Exactly.
1-1 to Luke Heyman, the DH tonight for Florida. So 2-1. Heyman, 6 home runs, 24 runs batted in. You talk about how the Gators rallied to win last Saturday, then blast LSU on Sunday. Heyman was all a part of that. As his at-bats seemed to get better as the series progressed. That's kind of off the end of the bat. And Larry, just off the cut, makes the catch for the second out.
You talk about it, Heyman struggled a little bit. Had a really good freshman season. Lived up to his name, a highly touted guy at a high school, came in, caught a little bit last year, DH majority of the season, and coming this year with high expectations. He's got to really realize and realize that all the work he's put in will eventually pay off. He has to continue to go through that process and grind it out. Like this is his first bit of failure that he's had in college, and he's got to just grind out of it.
7th to bat tonight, Dale Thomas. Takes ball 1 outside. Thomas making his 21st start tonight. Batting average has dipped now to 197.
Tell you
Oh
something.
boy, that's a generous call there.
And Cal Stevens, a guy coming off a hot start, 6 2/3 innings against A&M, 5 hits, only 1 earned run.
Made his debut, Steven did, against Air Force in a Mississippi State uniform.
That was a healthy cut right there by
Sure
Thomas.
was. 1-2 count. He didn't get the decision against the Falcons, but he went 7 innings. It's been his longest outing of the year. That was right out of the gate. Welcome to Starkville.
Let's see if they go slider here.
1-2 to Thomas. 1-2-3 inning. Nick Belmonte, I think you saw that coming. The year trying to make that bid to be the new Friday night guy. So far, so good. And we're underway in the 3rd. And Neely's low and away to the 9-hole hitter, Johnny Long. Long out of Naples, Florida. And a 1-1 count now to Johnny Long, who is a part of it. Can we call it, Nick, a catching rotation right now for Mississippi State?
Yeah, they got a couple guys they're using. I saw Johnny Long last week took a bunt towards first base and beat it out. Nobody was expecting it, so you almost have to be heads up on him because he placed it down there perfectly.
And as you can see right here, Long just called for time. That's that tempo I was talking to you about Neely. When he's really good, he's in that tempo and in that groove. Looks like Mississippi State caught on to it, trying to call a timeout early and get him off his groove.
1-1. 2 pitches in, BT, and he's already calling for time to get into his rhythm. Usually you don't see that. At least there's an out or two, right? And now Garrison might need a new piece of equipment. Yep, new mitt.
Can't go through the game without you can't finish the game with timeouts on the board. You got to use them all, right?
I guess so. What do they call that in the basketball? The use it or lose it timeout?
Use it or lose it.
Use it or lose it. So Garrison's got a new mitt there behind the dish. 2-1 from Neely at 94 miles an hour. Were you okay having to change a mitt midstream like that?
I was fortunate enough to have like 3 or 4 gloves that I had, but it's definitely tough. I mean, something you use every single day and then have to use something different. I mean, it's broken in, it's ready, you used it before, but it's not the same thing. It's tough. Especially a guy with his ball moves everywhere in every direction possible.
Hot shot backhanded by Thomas. That's a long throw, and it's wide. Thomas will get charged here probably with his 3rd error of the year. And Johnny Long, transfer from Pittsburgh, is aboard.
a tough ball to Dale's right, but kind of spun the opposite way, had a gallop, and tried to let it eat to first base. I think majority of the time you just get rid of it early and let the first baseman pick it up for you.
Swing and a miss by Amani Larry. Back to the top of the order here for the Bulldogs. Larry struck out to start the game.
Yeah, you got to be careful here. You don't want to get men on base when Jordan comes up.
And he offered 0-2. Larry came into tonight hitting .293 over his last 10.
You got to be careful with him. Probably stay away, because if you come inside, he's looking to get hit with a pitch. He does anything he can to get on base, and that's the mode he's probably in 0-2 here.
Might be 2. Flip to Curlin on the turn. Safe. Kaggs even with those long legs.
And you can see the home plate umpire right here as well, giving a nod to the first base umpire, saying he was on.
Okay. That's good assist right there. Home plate umpire by Thomas. And it goes down as a double play, the 10th of the season for the Gators.
Well, Ron Teague made that call, and you can see that the Kaggs from that looked like he had his foot on the base. So the umpire from 90 feet away made the correct call.
And what it also does is it helps Neely here in this first start. He's sitting at 40 pitches with now 2 outs in the third. And that ball will be immediately grabbed by Garrison before it had any chance of spinning back. David Marchand, who made a dazzling play in the bottom half of the second inning at the plate here with 2 outs. Marchand 0 for 1 tonight. He grounded out to Colby Shelton at short his first time up. I kind of was excited to see Marchand play this weekend. I'm even more so now after watching him both at the plate and defensively for sure.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. I mean, there's a lot of things he does well. He's got the look going.
Yeah, he's that traditional gritty baseball player. He's not going to flash you with the power or anything, but he's going to put the ball in play. And, Mississippi State has had a few of those guys throughout the years. You had the Jank Mangum, and then
Mangum. And Mangum is probably going to get to the big leagues this year. He's at AAA with the Rays, and I'm thinking he probably gets called up.
0-2. Marchand stays alive. Taylor, South Carolina, David Marchand.
And a tough guy. If he gets the shortstop to backhand, there's a good chance he's beating anything like that out. So he's just looking to put the ball in play somewhere, get an infielder, go to her backhand side. And like I said, he's sub 4 seconds to first base, and that's moving.
Is it deceiving having the pants above the kneecaps?
makes you look taller for sure.
So.
The Hunter Pence look.
Switch hitter, the 1-2 pitch.
But Hunter was a tall guy, which made it look even stranger.
He was distracting you. That's what he was doing.
That Hunter Pence, though, that guy, he could beat you a lot of ways.
Marchand stays alive. 7 members of his family have played at the collegiate level or higher in baseball.
That's a heck of a lineage.
Yeah, I'd say.
Well, it's not stopping here. He's a dang good player.
Two. And we got a battle working here between Neely and Marchand. Dakota Jordan is on deck. That's maybe why the stakes are even higher here at this moment. There are 2 outs, nobody on. But if you can leave Jordan on deck and see him to start the 4th, that'd be a big plus for Neely. And he walked him.
Now the decision to make for Chris Lemonis. He's got his power guy up, and he's got his guy on base who's 8 for 8 in stolen bases.
Oh, you're keeping him right at first base and let one of the best bats in America go to work here.
And that's the thing. I mean, I don't know how much he's been hitting in the 2-hole, but obviously he's been running sometimes this year because he's 8 for 8.
Neely's got quick feet on the mound, too. He's pretty good at holding runners as well.
It's a big lead over there, too. And that's one of the things. It's not always the stolen base. It's the threat of the stolen base that gets in the head of everyone involved defensively.
Most definitely affects the pitcher. You get you thinking about it. You don't throw your best pitch. You leave one over the plate to one of the best hitters in the country to do some damage.
You see, and we saw that a couple weeks ago. Unfortunately, in a Gator scenario, with a guy that wasn't a base stealer, and I want to say it was Philpott. That's Sean. You did that game with me, but this guy can run.
But here's the other thing. I think you guys touched on this a little bit. If I'm Brandon Neely right now, I know the number. I know the stat. Garrison's thrown out 6 of 7 that have tried to steal on him.
And that's the beauty of this matchup right here. You got a great base runner, you got a great catcher, something's going to give, and you got a great hitter. This is what makes it fun.
Got him. No. Close, and some oohs and ahs here from the orange and blue.
And that's the lead you want to take. I mean, step in and dive back, you want to make it to where you barely get back, and that's how you know you got there.
Kaggs almost hit his own leg first right there. He might have got him.
Don't forget the problem with the plate here in Jordan.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And Jordan's a guy, and we saw it his first at bat. He could take that fastball and rifle it to the right side. The slider going away, he'll chase it, but that fastball, he catches up to it. There you go.
Yeah, that cross-count slider right there. Neely's done it a few times in the first 3 innings.
He's got to come back to that pitch because that's the one he's gotten him twice on that pitch to chase after it, and he's come up empty. The fastball he hit hard his first at-bat.
And Jordan's actually one of the better hitters in the SEC at hitting off-speed pitches. I mean, majority of his damage has been on those off-speed pitches up in the zone, and Neely's just got to really keep it down.
Yeah, and just outer third away, get him the chase.
There goes the runner. Swing and a miss. Throw to second. Not in time. So the count 2-2.
Neely was trying to get his best pitch right there and did a high leg kick instead of being quick to the plate and giving Tanner a good time and a chance to throw him out. That was tough right there.
Yeah, and that's okay because you're going off speed anyway, so you're at a disadvantage as a pitcher. Sometimes you're just going to have to say, hey, I'd rather get the hitter here and worry about him than that base stealer.
That's going to bring in a run. And that stolen base ends up being huge. RBI number 39 for Dakota Jordan. And the game now tied at 1.
In fairness to Neely, he made a good pitch right there. I mean, that was a routine ground ball that just found a home.
Yeah, but runs always circle back to that walk or the 2-out walk that always gets you. You get a good base runner at first base, gets an extra 90 feet, and one of the best hitters in the country does damage on a 2-strike pitch with 2 outs. And, hey, 2-out RBIs win you games.
Right now at 53 pitches, this is the second most pitches in an outing for Neely this season. 2 gone in the third, and now Hunter Hines. He takes ball 1. The most pitches that Neely has thrown this year, 61. And that was in 2 innings of work against St. Mary's.
That's another thing to look at, too. I mean, Neely has had experience as a starter, but he hasn't had a couple weeks to really gear himself up and ramp himself up to go 6-7 innings and throw over 100 pitches. I mean, he hasn't had the endurance build up in a sense to do that and be successful. So this is definitely a test for him mentally and physically. So we'll see how he does down the stretch.
His last start, he threw 97 pitches June 6th of 22.
1-1 to Hines.
Against Oklahoma.
Ahead. Yep.
And it was a heck of a start too. I mean, 6 2/3 innings. He only gave up 1 run, no walks, struck out 5.
The only thing that stopped him was the rain delay, the weather.
Yeah.
Big pitch here. 1-2. Wouldn't chase. Hines has 45 career home runs. That's good for 8th all time at Mississippi State. Richard Lee, you got to go back a little bit, is right above him in the rankings there with 46. 2-2.
Wow. One of those just natural talents with the natural raw power from the left side. Yeah, that's how you're going to get him out right there. Got a really good take by Hines.
Hines a hot hitter right now.
The payoff from Neely. Got him. At Mississippi State. They have a new identity as a staff, and Cal Steven may be the embodiment of that. They saw that during fall ball when all of a sudden the hitters weren't so used to the pitching staff kind of coming right back at them in inter-squad games.
Yeah, and you're talking about pitching coach Justin Parker came over from South Carolina, and Chris Lamonis knew him from his days at Indiana. Of course, Justin Parker also was a pitching coach at Central Florida here in the state, but a really good one.
Tanner Garrison, then Michael Robertson, then up top, Kobe Shelton. Trying to find the outside edge. Steven misses. 1 ball, 1 strike to Garrison.
And with the pitching coach coming over too, I mean, those South Carolina pitchers, they had a demeanor about them. Like they were gritty, like bulldog type guys on the mound that really wanted to get you out every single time. And it seems that's, it's translated. Steven on the mound right now, he's an intense guy and he's going right after guys.
Yeah, South Carolina was 17th in the nation in strikeouts last year with 608.
And look, as loaded as this Florida team was a year ago, they should know full well as they went to Columbia, South Carolina, and didn't have a very fun visit to the Palmetto State. And it was a swagger that I don't think any of us had seen from a Gators opponent to that point in the season.
No, they were a swaggy bunch, and they walked around with a chip on their shoulder with that attitude like we're going to beat you in your park, our park, no matter where we play. And I'll tell you another not easy place to play is Starkville.
Dudy Noble Field.
The dude.
They're eager to get back. This will be games 5, 6, and 7 straight on the road for them this weekend. That ball is hammered to left. Tanner Garrison, home run.
Mr. Garrison,
first as a Gator.
Mr. Garrison's first home run as a Gator, fastball right down Broadway, and got the good swing off and got it up in the air and gets a little handshake with Taylor Black right there and celebrate with his boys.
First for Garrison, 55th now on the year for the Florida Gators. Second tonight, 105.4 miles per hour. This had a jet engine on the backside of it heading for the left field fence.
Oh, he barrels this thing up, and nice job of keeping his hands back, leading with the knob end of the bat. And Mr. Stevens said, yeah, it's out of here.
Okay, you want to talk about the conversation we had outside the cage earlier regarding Tanner Garrison?
Yeah, Chuck Geralman actually had a pretty he got on Gary pretty well yesterday, and just like, Garrett, you're such a better hitter than this, man. I mean, you're not doing what you know you're capable of, and just go out there and have a good time and swing hard, and paid off right there for him. I guess Chuck did a pretty dang good job getting in his ear.
Yep.
We've seen Garrison hit the ball hard and make some hard outs this year too. His batting average is not indicative of some of the swings he's had.
Michael Robertson, 1 ball, 2 strikes to the Gators center fielder, the 9-hole in the lineup now.
And he has to know the type of guy he is too. He's not like I'm a single guy, I get on base all the time. I'm at the bottom of the order. I'm in there to play really good defense, control this pitching staff, and lead this team from a defensive perspective, and every once in a while, run the ball out of the yard.
See, okay, I don't want to get into balls and strikes and all that. Robertson takes that one there against Mershon, beg your pardon. Neely had a similar pitch. Remember, that was where they had to deal to Mershon. That was the same exact spot. It ended up allowing Mershon to reach.
Yeah, strike or non-strike, I mean, that's definitely one of the pitches you love as a catcher. Just work it right back over the plate where the two seams coming back over, and at least make it look like a strike anyway.
And unfortunately for hitters, I mean, you got yourself in a 2-strike position, so you have to fight those pitches off sometime.
Yeah, I'm not saying it wasn't a strike.
Yeah.
Shelton puts a charge in this one to the right side. Nice backhand here by the first baseman, Hines, and handling a tough handle as Steven. Did he miss the bag?
Did he miss the bag?
I think if he did, Mike Rivera over there at first base, coach, would have said something, because it looked like he tiptoed over.
Well, we'll get a look right here. Right on it.
Right on it.
Hey, back to Tanner Garrison for a moment. Talking about him running into a ball or two. Look, he came here with 13 career home runs at Coastal Carolina. He had 6 in last season's play alone. And
he was always kind of overshadowed. I mean, he was a really good player at Coastal Carolina, fantastic catcher, really good sound defensive guy. And Caden Bodine there as a freshman came in, and one of the top catchers in the draft next year. Just came in and took the job, and it's super hard to sit there and be like, I did anything wrong. I mean, it's just one really good player that came in, really good switch hitting catcher, and didn't get a whole lot of playing time, but made the most of his playing time last year, and that's why he's here at Florida.
Ty Evans homered back in the first inning. That's 5 home runs now in the last 14 games and an at-bat for Ty Evans. Tybo. 1-2 from Cal Steven. That's a pretty pitch. Swing and a miss. And just like back in he begins the fourth inning against Connor Hysack. Runs him low and away, ball one.
It's going to get to that point now where you start looking at that pitch count for Neely at 60 here through 3.
Bottom dropped out of that one. Hysack, one of those 4 strikeout victims.
I don't want to jump the gun here, but this is exactly what Kevin O'Sullivan was looking for and getting Neely on the Friday night start now. Going out there, putting the team in a position through the first couple innings to win the game.
Shelton with a tough play. Glides it over to first, one gone. And I'm really glad that even though Neely reached out his bare hand, that it did not make contact with Neely's right hand.
Yeah, just instinct. You're going to just reach for it. But one thing we've seen about with Shelton, he really does have great range. I mean, coming over, I know one of the things in the fall is Shelton going to be able to handle shortstop well. He can more than handle it. The kid's got a cannon for an arm as well.
Now Aaron Downs, 1 for 1 tonight. First pitch swinging. Look out in the third base dugout. We haven't talked about the other side of this equation. So Neely now a starter on Friday night. That means Cade Fisher now to the bullpen, and that's a plus any which way you look at it based on last year as well. Just fouled at the third base side.
Yeah, he becomes your long guy. He becomes maybe your setup guy. He could go into many roles that he had last year, and BTU caught him. So, I mean, he's versatile in the bullpen.
Yeah, he's definitely versatile. I think you're really going to see him in the longer range of things, much like a Slater kind of bridge guy. And then you're going to see one of those freshman guys at the end of the game that's got a live arm potentially and run out there and get 3 outs. I mean, you look at the freshman kid, you say, here's the ball, you get it, 3 outs and close out a game. And there's some confidence build with that, telling a kid like, hey, this is your game, man. You go out there and solidify a win for us.
Well, Neely came inside on the prior pitch, and I kind of like that selection. Comes back inside here and actually plunks Downs. So Downs hit by the pitch, and that puts a 1-out base runner on for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, two-seamer just coming right back and catches him right on the hand.
And then in the face.
Yeah, double whammy.
It's only the second time in his career that he's been hit by a pitch. So now you'll work on Kohler here. Left-handed bat in the 7-hole.
Yeah, Kohler came in 1 for 19 in his last 5 games. So maybe they work the old-fashioned hit and run here possibly. Who knows? Just try to create a hole.
Right through the hole on the right side. Probably first and third. Evans up with it. They will not cut the throw. Good block by Thomas, but they're at the corners here with 1 out. Nice piece of hitting by Logan Kohler.
He didn't start the runner, but got the same result if he executed a perfect hit and run. Pitches up right down the middle and made the most of it.
Garrison wants time, and Kevin O'Sullivan is going to meet the battery on the mound here before Bryce Chance comes to the plate. Kevin.
More sharp and into the midweek games, and which gives him a positive outlook to the weekend.
And if I hear one more time that midweek games don't matter, I'm going to scream, because they do matter for a lot of ways. I mean, yeah, you're probably playing teams with lesser RPIs, but you want the confidence going in as a hitter, as a pitcher, as a defender, going into the weekend with something positive that you did midweek.
And those are the games that really get you a top 8 national seed or a regional host or anything like that. I mean, yeah, you can do really well in the league. You might host, but what happens when you get to that second round of the tournament and you're playing at, some
question.
Yeah, stadium like LSU, and you can't use your fans to your advantage. I mean, those are huge games that you have to take care of.
I mean, think of it this way. If you're a hitter and you have a bad Tuesday night game, you go for 5, you hit the ball terribly. You're going to sit around mentally being up for the weekend? No, you're going to go, man, I'm in a slump. You're going to start overthinking things. You want to have a good Tuesday game going into the weekend.
Well, especially through the first half of the season, because if you play well midweek, get out in front of a team. That one is poked through the right side as well. The ball game's tied. And Evans trying to get another man at third base. Did he leave the bag? No. Kept the left foot on. Down scores. Kohler's at third now. And we're tied at 2.
Well, Bryce Chance, the kid that grew up a diehard Mississippi State Bulldog fan, just fillets it, just pokes it to right field right here. Good piece of hitting.
20th
nasty
RBI.
Slider.
Yep. It's 2 ground balls to the right side here on Neely. And now the catcher, the number 9 hitter, Johnny Long, coming to the plate. He reached on an error his first time up and then was erased on a 6-4-3 double play.
And ever since I saw him lay that bunt down last week, in a perfect one at Texas A&M, I'm going to be looking for it.
We talked about the tenor of this team. Ooh, Garrison able to get quickly to that baseball. Keeps the runner at third, and Logan Kohler. Talking about the tenor of this baseball team, Mississippi State, that the change in the culture of their pitching staff. The position players, too, got a boost by Long, who transferred in from Pittsburgh. And things didn't go well for him at Pittsburgh. Went there for 2 years, not near the numbers that he had coming out of high school in his freshman year in college. But he brought a new attitude and tested LSU earlier this season, as the Tigers are ought to do. Thomas on a ball that's blown dead at the plate.
Sometimes that's the spark you need. It's not necessarily the greatest player in the world or the best catcher, the best hitter, whatever, but it's a new demeanor. I mean, I talked to Coach Lemonis before the game, and he talked about, the season after they won the national championship. It's really hard. I mean, you're set at a huge school and program and tenured program like Mississippi State. It's very hard to, achieve an expectation that they set for you and do it year after year after year. And to bring in a new guy and a new face, a fresh mindset, it's really good for a program like Mississippi State, so long as one of those guys that they have now, which is great for the program.
And how about that? Bryce Chance running on that pitch, 5 for 6 in the stolen base department. So they're playing aggressive baseball right now.
2-2 count. Now full, and there is activity in the Gators bullpen.
And let's see if Coach Lemonis starts Bryce Chance at first base. He had him 2 pitches ago. Why not? The guy's 5 for 6. Pressure's going to be on Long to possibly put this in play, however.
And as Neely re-engages the rubber, that conversation we had moments ago regarding Cade Fisher is coming to fruition as he's the man up in the bullpen. And that's ball 4. And they're loaded.
That's too bad, too, because Bryce Chance got the worst jump off of first base, almost fell down. He would have been out by a lot.
So with the bases loaded and 1 out, they flip the order to the top. Amani Larry, who's 0 for 2, is coming to the plate. Strikeout and grounded into a double play. Now Boyd Neely needs a double play in the worst way here in the 4th inning.
This is what I was talking about earlier with the pitch count and not building up your endurance after a few weeks. Now he's going right into the Friday roll. It's something he's really got to grind through right now and finish your inning. Get out of here and minimize as much as possible.
It'll be pitch number 80. Good breaking ball. 0-2.
Well, this is the most pitches he's thrown since the 6th of June 2 years ago.
There's the old fake. You got something in your eye to stop the pitcher. The loophole in the system now.
Eyes wide. Larry steps back in. Bulldog on every bag. But you're right about the work that Garrison has cut out for him tonight. That ball just runs all over the place when Neely is dealing.
And be careful pitching him inside. I mean, he's always looking for that hit by pitch.
And here they are.
1-2 delivery. Inside.
He went around.
He went around. They're going to appeal the swing. No swing, says first base umpire Seth Buckminster. And that's going to bring a run in now. And you just said it, Nick. Hit by pitch is a part of Larry's game.
And he's down 0-2. This is a smart play. And you can see he's leaning. He's not going out of the way of that pitch. So it gets him in the back. Does he swing at the pitch? No, he held up. Had that ball bat traveled past home plate, you could have called it a swing, but he held up enough. But he was looking for it 0-2. That's the 10th time he's in the middle, even with the bag in the corners.
So up there on the right side this time. Ball one inside from Cade Fisher. Fisher might be able to give you a little length. His last 2 outings, 5 and then 6 innings. Swinging a fly ball into deep center. This is going to score the run. Robertson is there to make the catch. Tagging at third, Chance will come home to score, and the throw to second, unable to get a tagging Amani Larry.
Yeah, heads up base running all the way around by Mississippi State. They saw that was going to be pretty much a can of corn, but hit deep enough. All 3 base runners tagged. So very, very productive out.
It's out number 2. The run is charged to Brandon Neely. So 4 runs, 3 earned. And the Gators are going to intentionally walk Dakota Jordan. Not to overthink this, but that might be one of the best decisions that'll be made all night in this situation.
Yeah, and it gives you the lefty-lefty look here as well. And we talk about Hunter Hines being hot, but you go lefty-lefty, and you don't have to worry about one of the better hitters in college baseball. Not that this guy's no slouch.
9th man to bat in the inning.
Yeah, Jordan was hitting .432 on lefties versus Hines .235. So
numbers do tell a story sometimes.
the eye in the sky does not lie, and statistics do not either.
Hunter Hines doesn't want to hear any part of it. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Fisher from the belt.
But the one thing I say about statistics, they only tell the past.
They only tell the past, and Hunter Hines is definitely an over-the-plate, out-and-away extension type hitter as well, and Cade Fisher's, his strengths are to glove side and away from lefties too, so we'll see how the matchup goes here.
He's missed twice away now, and that makes the count 3 balls and no strikes. And Fisher's got to make a pitch here, or else it's another run for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, left on left here with bases loaded, I think you're taking all the way.
Got the call on the outside edge, 3-1.
Big pitch in this ball game. It could end up being a big pitch in the series.
Gators had some momentum with a pair of home runs. And ball 4 means it's 5-2 Mississippi State. Johnny Long, one of those walks, comes in to score. Larry to second, Jordan to third, Jordan to second. And they batted around.
The Bulldogs are definitely trying to create their own energy in the dugout right now. I mean, not many Bulldog fans in the stands right now, but they're bringing the energy in the dugout.
Strike 1 to Connor Hysak.
And think about this, BT. This is their second week on the road in the SEC. They were at Texas A&M last week, and then they come to Gainesville. Gators have to do that later this year as well, going Arkansas Vandy.
Should be a play for Caglione. Right on the line. 3rd out. 10 batters come to the plate, though. Now on the wrong end of it at 5-2. Cags 0 for 1 tonight. That's again off the handle and into the shift. And 2 groundouts for Jack Caglione. Both have come right above his hands, BT, right on the handle of the bat.
Yeah, trying to get that extension, just getting in on his hands. That deceiving fastball plays a little bit harder than what it shows on the scoreboard.
And this is exactly the same way they pitched Braden Montgomery last week at Texas A&M, their big left-handed hitter.
Here's Shelnut. He struck out his first time up. And scored that Caglione play 5-3 in the shift.
Talking to Coach Lemonis before the game, too, how important this series is because the gauntlet they're about to go through in the SEC, and they've already gone through. I mean, the SEC West this year is no joke. LSU, Arkansas, Auburn's playing good baseball, starting to play a little bit better. Texas A&M, a top 5 team in the country. I mean, you're looking at a really hard schedule that they're going to have to go through in a few weeks. So this is a huge series win if they could pull it off this weekend for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, coming into the play yesterday, State at 3-3. Second place in the West. As you mentioned, Arkansas, the #1 team in the country. They're out front of everybody here, 5-1. Kentucky's off to a hot start in the East, meanwhile. Everybody else is 4-2 and down, including the Gators, second place in a tie with South Carolina in the East coming into this week's play. The next from Steven. Got a nice frame job there, evens the count, 2-2.
Well, you can't hit a grand slam here. You just got to get men on base. There's Chris Lemonis. And Chris Lemonis was born right outside of Starkville.
Yeah, his father graduated from Mississippi State. Lemonis was a Citadel guy, but the family legacy goes back to Starkville.
Yeah, and he was actually born in Biloxi and came right over and lived in married housing, brought up in married housing in Starkville on the campus.
Ball 4 and a base runner here for the Gators. This will be the first base runner that doesn't go all the way around the path for the Gators.
And not of a very efficient start for the Gators offensively tonight. Ran 2 balls out of the yard, but they got to get something going, get guys on base, so when they do happen to run a ball out of the yard, they're putting a crooked number on the board.
The Gators have relied so heavily on the home run ball. Their percentage of runs via home run is fun to look at, but some manufacturing here.
Yeah, you got to string some hits along here.
Kerwin grounded out to short his first time up.
You always hear that just a lot of times home runs are rally killers because then the pitcher can kind of reset and focus on one hitter. When there's traffic on the bases, the leverage situation becomes a lot higher.
Big hole to the right side, throw over to first, and diving back in is Tyler Shelnut.
And you look at all the better teams that Florida has had, they have had the ability to run the ball out of the yard, but that's not what they've always leaned on. They've leaned on winning in many different ways, whether it be short game, getting guys on base, hitting, wearing pitches in the box, taking their walks when they can, winning in many different ways. And the Gators have struggled this year doing that. I mean, they've really, like you've talked about, relied on the long ball, and if they haven't had it, they haven't had success.
I always like it when Cade starts shooting the ball to the right side because he's over swinging a bit here, pulling his head.
I was just going to say that about his last cut there. And again, with the runner being held on at first and the second baseman Larry toward the bag, there is plenty of room, Nick, to shoot one through the right side.
I'm not understanding the throws over to first base right here. I mean, I know Shelnut has 4 stolen bases, but they're up 3, and he doesn't even have that big of a lead. I don't think Kevin O'Sullivan's going to be sending Shelnut anytime here soon.
Although I would say this, I'll say so after the 1-1 to Curlin. I wouldn't say Mississippi State's done a tremendous job managing the run game defensively so far this season.
Yeah, but even at this point, you're up 3. You know, you're going to say, hey, Gators, you want to run down 3? Go have at it. I don't think they need to worry about the runner at first.
Curlin's in a hole here. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And out on strikes, 2 gone in the Gator half of the 4th.
And I know we talk about stealing off a pitcher, not necessarily a catcher all the time, but, you know, it's also a collaboration between the pitcher's time and catcher's time. But, you know, the 3 catchers that Mississippi State have, one is 11 for 15 runners off of that guy. The next guy is 10 of 10. He hasn't thrown a guy out. The other guy is 2 of 2. So teams have had success running on Mississippi State. I think the Gators are in a predicament right now where they're down by 3. They get a guy on base, and they don't really have the opportunity to run into an out. Versus you're in a 1-run game or even a tie ball game, you have the ability to run and do those things.
Well, they're managing Shelnut like he's Lou Brock over there.
Oh man, I'm telling you. And that's, I think, advantage Gator hitters there, directing his attention 2 ways.
Up in the zone, big cut by Luke Heyman. 0 for 1 tonight. Popped up to the second baseman his first time up.
Yeah, Luke's got to just slow that thing down, and we like it when Luke goes the opposite way too. Split a gap here will score a run, and that would be huge from a momentum standpoint.
You know a guy's right when he's pulling a ball to his pull side, and it's not just like a complete top spin unless he's hitting it off the cap or whatever. I mean, if he's driving the ball to his pull side, that's how you know he's on the right side of the baseball, staying in the middle of the field.
Pop that one foul. They are deep and straight away in the outfield for Luke Heyman.
Yeah, and a little no doubles defense here with 2 outs, runner at first, which is typical protocol, but they look like they're trying to get him to chase it, something over the hands.
If I'm Steven here, I'm going fastball up again.
Did just that.
Yeah, they've done that, 3 times in a row here to him. And
You might have a show-me breaking ball in the mix here, but I'm standing at the top of the zone, and here's my best fastball. Go ahead and hit it.
And he's an aggressive pitcher. I mean, that's how he pitched against Texas A&M all last week. I mean, he didn't mind just backing righties off.
I think here it comes again.
Not until they get Acuna back to the bag.
and I'm telling you, that was not a big lead.
Is that Ricky Henderson over there?
I guess.
The 1-2. Hit well.
Doesn't see it.
Into center.
Now he does.
Hysak, who was one of 2 guys that were plunked by Neely in the 4th. And Downs did come around to score. We're underway in the 5th.
The kid's got a
backdoor
clean
slider for strike 1.
Cade's got a clean inning right here. He's got to really put the tempo up and get in his groove and, bring some momentum back into the dugout and pass it off to the offense. Get something going positive for the Gators right here.
Well, I think you make a good point here because, again, he came in with bases loaded. Now he can treat this inning like, hey, I'm back into my old starting role here. Clean start, set tempo.
Yep, clean inning, set tempo. On my time and rock and fire.
Well, last weekend against LSU on the road, the Gators bullpen went 10 2/3 scoreless innings and winning 2 of 3. First out of the 5th, strikeout to Downs.
Yeah, and that's something that A&M did. They got Downs to chase that up and away pitch all weekend, and Cade up in the count got him to go after this here. And this thing is off the plate, and he's just going to go ahead and go after it.
And, for me, I think Cade Fisher has shown that he can throw 93, 95, that mid-90s consistently all the time. Right now, he's sitting like 89, 91. That has nothing to do with talent or anything. I think it's really just an internal confidence thing for him right now. I haven't had success to start out the year. My team is desperately needing me to be successful, and I need to just get out of my, my funk or my slump in a sense for a pitcher and just get back out there and show that I can do it. Prove to everybody, prove to myself that I can just be the guy that they need.
Kohler stepped out, thought it might have been a little low. Big sweeping pitch from Cade Fisher makes it 0-2. They have shifted to the right side for Kohler.
Yeah, we talked about Kohler struggling until that last at-bat, and that was a big hit in that inning.
That's one of the balls, Nick, that was shot through the right side,
Yep.
correct?
Yeah.
And now they get the shift on him.
Yeah, there was a runner on at the time and didn't have that dramatic of a shift, so he did shoot one to the right side. But again, a clean inning, the whole momentum thing, that is paramount right here for the Gators. You always have to treat this like a shutdown inning after you scored because you got to turn this thing around, get the crowd involved.
You got to box out with no rebound runs.
Yeah, that's it.
He hit a spot, but Garrison had kind of set up a little away here on Kohler.
See, that's the issue. I mean, you can't nitpick around and pitch around the guy right now. You got to go right at him, right at the outer third of the plate, just like that.
Pair of strikeouts already here in the 5th. Kohler had a little something to say on his way back to the dugout.
Probably mad at himself right here because this pitch looked like it was off the plate. Probably not get the call as far as Garrison had to reach over for it.
I think as a hitter, that's one of those where like, how did I miss that? I was right on it.
You're right on it till you weren't.
That's right.
Here's Bryce Chance. Start him with a strike. 6 strikeouts now for Gators pitching tonight. Right back at Fisher. Knocked his glove off. Does he have a play? Yep, got him. Well, tempo. This thing going here. 7, 8, 9 for the Gators in the bottom of the 5th. Down 5-2. Thomas struck out his first time up. Meanwhile, Kyle Steven just rolling along here, now pitching with that lead. He's only walked 1, and he starts Thomas off with a strike. That low end of the zone has been prominent, and both pitchers have benefited. Gators have struck out 5 times this evening.
And Dale's another guy. Just shorten it up a little bit. Just see it where it is. Just flick it to where the pitcher is throwing it. Don't try to overswing.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Last hit for Dale Thomas was a week ago tomorrow, the Saturday game at LSU. He went 1 for 4, and even with all the offense on Sunday, Thomas was 0 for 4. Let's see if we can get back on track tonight.
You're just pitching him down and away till he can prove he can hit it.
Long wait here.
That's a good stop right there. You know, Long's he's kind of a mixture between new style catching, old style catching, where he's still on 2 feet, but you can see how his glove and his arm are completely vertical with the ground, or completely perpendicular with the ground. He does a really good job with the low pitches and stealing those for his pitcher.
Let's see if that pitch sets up this one. Thomas just about hit one of our microphones. You could hear it right there as it went up against the screen above the first base dugout.
Now, it looks like Long's giving signals. I thought that's no longer in vogue with the new technology.
Yeah, you know, some pitchers like that.
Yeah.
They like seeing something visually and just rocking with it instead of looking at a watch. Or
Popped him up into the gap. It's going to be the right fielder, Jordan. One gone in the Gator 5th. So Steven so far 4 1/3. He's allowed 2 hits. They're both home runs. And so both earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. And now Tanner Garrison, one of those home runs he gave up, that was to start things in the 3rd. About 105 miles an hour off the bat for Garrison when he shot one over the left field fence.
And to your point earlier, Nick, I mean, as a pitcher, like, solo home runs aren't going to beat you. If anything, it's a rally killer. You're going out there, you're throwing strikes, you're pounding the zone. You give up 1 run in an inning on a solo home run, who cares? Keep mowing guys down, getting guys out. Don't leave traffic on the bases where if they do run a ball out of the yard, they put a crooked number up.
And managing the minor leagues, in a situation like this, I'd rather see him give up a home run than a walk right now.
Could not agree more.
I mean, that would mean that he's attacking the zone then, partner.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You walk a guy or hit him with a pitch, the defense is like, oh, my goodness, you know. But give up a home run, that's just part of the game. All right, he ran into one. Let's get the next guy.
How about a base hit to the left side?
Let's go, Tanner. Have a night.
2 for 2. Garrison aboard with 1 out.
I'll give you a little fun fact, too. Gators 55 home runs this year.
Okay.
All right, as of
tonight, right now.
Right now. 2017 College World Series, 53. The whole season. And there's a trophy down there on the concourse.
Just goes to show you have to win in so many different ways and come up with timely hitting, clutch hitting. There's plenty of aspects that go into it outside of just running the ball out of the yard. But, you know, as much as the game's changed, the balls have changed, the bats have changed. I mean, you look at Caglianone's home run on Tuesday.
And there you go.
There's the trophy right there.
60 double plays that year, too. And that was you were allowed to shift back then, but not everybody was doing it. Not to the extent they're doing it now.
Well, we talked the other night, Nick, about how the shift has actually brought the number of double plays down.
Yeah.
When you think it's a defensive weapon that,
yeah.
You know, it's interesting. Now we're looking at kind of a half pinch here by Mississippi State's defense looking for a double play ball.
Well, this is why a lot of pitchers are now specialists, too, because they got to throw a lot more pitches because there's more strikeouts. You're not getting that one pitch ground ball double play to get you out of an inning. I mean, you're grinding to strike out 2 guys.
Gators came into tonight 3rd in the SEC in home runs in the season, 6th in the country, next to Robertson. So now in charge in this count here, and Chuck Girolamo there in the background has some options with regard to his strategy here with a runner aboard at first.
Super important at bat right here with Shelton on the
I would be surprised
circle.
if he doesn't take one here.
Belts this one into center. High sack again has been playing deep all night. Puts it in his pocket. 2 gone. Back to first base is Garrison.
And my reasoning at that point was what you got coming up next with Shelton Evans and Cags.
And you look up at the scoreboard now, 68 pitches through 4 2/3 for Steven here. He has been extremely efficient, has done his job for sure.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks in a row. He got knocked around a little bit against LSU 2 weekends ago, but he looks like the same guy that threw last week.
Colby Shelton is batting .324 this year with 2 outs. He's 11 of 34. As he faces here Steven for the 3rd time tonight. Still looking for his first hit. 1-0 to Shelton.
And Mississippi State, we talk about their pitching. Nate Dome was their ace. He's been out.
Yep, he's got an elbow.
And this is not exact. What they're doing this weekend is not moving him up necessarily as the number 1 guy. Chris Lemonis told me this morning, he said, we're just keeping it the way it was last week because they had him go Friday and Sanja go on Saturday last week. So he's given them 7 days rest, and then they're just going to figure out what Sunday is because they could go Sierra, maybe Dome's ready, they don't know. But the reason why you got him going tonight, Steven going tonight, and Sanja going tomorrow, they said they just wanted to keep it 7 days rest just like last week.
And we'll see Sanja tomorrow. He's 4-1. He's the ambidextrous pitcher on that state staff. That one's going to be a souvenir. Not the best bunt attempt by Colby Shelton, and the count now 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, well, he left the batter's box before he got it down. If you're going to lay a bunt down, make sure you get it down, then start running, because it's the element of surprise. Believe me, he just needs to get it down the way they're playing him defensively.
Well, I mean, anything pushed down the third base side right now.
Yeah, you don't need to get a good jump out of the box the way they're playing you. You can crawl to first if you get it down.
Big shift on. 2-2 to Colby. Another one lost out of play.
And another crazy stat that goes to show you that you don't need to have the best stuff on the mound always, or the best stuff on the mound, the best pitches and everything don't necessarily matter, because 2 years ago Mississippi State's team, they led the SEC, their pitching staff led the SEC in strikeouts, but had the worst ERA and the worst walks. So they weren't successful as a team, and their team went 500. So it goes to show you, if you're out there, you're throwing strikes, and you're giving quality outings, and you're not giving up free bases all the time, you're going to be successful. And Mississippi State's doing it with their pitching staff right now.
Keeping an eye on the very speedy Tanner Garrison over there first.
Yeah, I'm at a loss on some of these throws over in certain situations like this. Gators aren't running here.
Shelton's in a battle here now.
And you see what they're trying to do to Gator hitters tonight, especially when they get ahead in the count. They're trying to get them to chase on balls above their hands. You see that signal by Johnny Long multiple times tonight, wanting that pitch up.
Yeah, and Steven's fastball plays a little bit harder than that 93 with the spin rate and the low release angle.
Try the 2-2 again. I wouldn't chase.
Yeah, and you talk about the low release angle. What BT's talking about is coming out about ear level, and that's not the easiest pitch to pick up as a hitter.
In reality, he's not pitching up.
Right,
but
exactly.
It definitely looks like it when you're hitting.
Yeah, it's the illusion, exactly.
Runner going. Ball 4. Oh, the old 2-out walk, gentlemen. And Ty Evans, one of the hottest hitters for the Gators, coming to the plate.
In my opinion, this is the at-bat of the game right here. This is really what turns the corner for the Gators offensively, and the momentum and everything, getting the crowd involved. This is a huge at-bat for Ty. And, he was that key at-bat last week in Baton Rouge against LSU and really switched the...
Evans, with runners in scoring position, is batting .414. 12 for 29. And that runner in scoring position is Garrison, who has found himself aboard via the third base hit of the night for the Gators. Got handcuffed Long. Stays in front. 1 ball, no strikes to Evans with Caglione on deck. 2 outs here in the 5th inning. And coming up on pitch number 80 for Cal Steven.
That was a slider that didn't slide right there and caught Long in the in the wrist. That one hurts.
Yeah. No, that was the one Evans wanted. Just came up empty. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, that's the harder cutter slider that doesn't move a whole lot. Kind of the on-purpose backup slider where you think it's going to slide more and you swing right below it.
Same pitch. Backing up on him. And yeah, as a hitter, you're like, wait a minute, you never see pitches like that, so how do you react to it? Back in the day, years ago, like in the 60s, in the big leagues, the screwball was the thing. But nobody throws that pitch anymore. It's really hard on your arm.
1-2. And a big moment goes the way of the Bulldogs here, and a fist pump, and why not, from Cal Steven.
That it's crisp weather out here, right around 70 degrees, not a whole lot of wind, maybe a little breeze, and to watch some baseball.
Johnny Long at the plate. Trying to start him with a backdoor slider. That's how he started things on downs in the fifth. Set the Bulldogs down in order in the fifth inning. 1-0 pitch. Same approach, missed away again. 2-0. The only other time the Bulldogs have been set down in order, that was back in the first when Neely started us off tonight. Strikeout, ground out, ground out. That's a good one. 2-1. Johnny Long has reached twice tonight. The Bulldog catcher reached on an error in the third, walked, and then scored in the fourth. And he smokes one on one, hop out the shell, not in left. Leadoff man aboard for the Bulldogs. That sets the table for the top of the order.
He's been on all night. Reached on an error to start off the second. Walk his last time up, now the hit. And it gets a little scary now at the top of this order.
Monty Larry looking for his first hit. Ready for Cade Fisher here.
They have bunted 16 times this year, which is rather high.
I was about to say maybe the game within a game here and try to tack on another run, extend that lead to 4, get the guy on second base and bunt him over. But hey, Larry's swinging the bat good right now. I wouldn't take the bat out of his hands either.
Let's not forget the smart at bat that he had during the rally when he was hit by a pitch for the 10th time this year.
Yeah, and he was down in the count looking to be hit with by the pitch, and he got it. And again, like you said, double digits already in hit by pitch this season.
It's coming in the right way.
There used to be a big leaguer named Ron Hunt that made a career out of it. Used to wear his uniform size 3 sizes too big just so the ball would hit him.
Ron Hunt, former Met, right?
Yeah, Met and Expo.
Tapper back to Fisher. Only plays to first.
There's a swinging bunt.
Yeah, I was about to say there's a
productive out.
Productive out. Same thing as a bunt for sure.
That's 2 assists defensively now for Cade Fisher. That one's a little easier than the one that he wore.
A little easier. Didn't hurt his bat either.
Less harrowing.
Now the shortstop, David Mershon.
And you can see from the Bulldogs too, a lot of their, I don't want to say non-home run guys, because all of them have a little bit of power to run it out of the yard, but they really do crowd the plate. They've looked like they've adjusted a little bit with a couple guys that have gotten hit. Now all of them are standing on the top of the plate.
I don't know how how you did, because I know they shifted you a lot. As a hitter, I would be Mershon, and I'd look the way they're showing me here, and I'd look for something I can go to right side, because to me that's where the money is on this at bat.
Yeah, I didn't have the hand-eye skills that some of these guys have right now, so I just try to swing as hard as I can, and hopefully it hit it. But yeah, to your point though, you kind of see how they're playing you.
Right, and then you got a left-handed pitcher up. This ball could be tailing away. I'm looking for something away to shoot to the right side.
Nice change of speed on that one.
From Mershon's perspective here, Cade Fisher's strength is pitching to his glove side, so it's in on you. Sometimes as a hitting coach, you're looking at the guy in the box and you give him a little signal like, hey, you try to just hook one down the line right here because you know it's a count that dictates maybe a fastball in.
Well, we saw this back in the third when Neely got ahead of Mershon. And Mershon battled himself into a walk, a key 2-out walk, stole a base, and then came around to score on Jordan's RBI single.
And thinking ahead, let's say Mershon makes an out here, no advancement. Does Sully put Jordan on again? I'm thinking, why not? Because then you got the left with Hines.
Yeah, the splits are definitely better from a lefty perspective in Hines than it is with Jordan for sure. But you know, another thing too, you put him on and Hines does happen to run into a ball. You have either 2 if it's a double or 3 if it runs out of the yard. So
that's where you pay to make those decisions. Right?
That's right. That's why I'm sitting up here and not down there where he's sitting.
Fisher Jamison now throwing for the Gators in the right field bullpen.
And that visit right there by Garrison, I mean, you'd think it's about a thought process about how you're going to get him out here or what you need to do or don't do, but a lot of it too is just getting the hitter out of his zone. You just let him sit there for 30 seconds and think about it.
2-2. Think about one near your chin.
The chin music.
Big payoff pitch upcoming here. Jordan waiting on deck. And here we go again with David Mershon.
I'll tell you, this kid's a tough out, man. I mean, Cade's out there grinding, throwing really good pitches right now, and he's fighting everything off.
5'8", 165 pounds, out of Eastside High School in Taylor, South Carolina. Garrison really charging up Fisher. Line drive right at Curlin. Can they double him off? Flip to the bag. Not in time. Boy, talk about right place, right time. That ball was shot off the bat. And Curlin comes up with a big second out here in the top half of the 6th inning.
Well, Mershon puts a good swing on this, and he said that they had him played perfectly.
Extremely good base running out there. That's a tough one to be able to see, and you're also trying to score.
And they will intentionally walk Jordan again. Second time tonight.
Hey, you always say don't let your best guy beat you. That's Sully's credo right here. It's just, I'm not going to let Jordan, guy with 12 home runs and all the damage he's done, beat me.
Yeah, Jordan, the SEC Player of the Week back on March 11th. But now, BT, for the second time tonight, Hunter Hines has got to be thinking, hey, look, you walked the guy to get to me.
Yeah, my thought process as a hitter, you got me once, I'm not letting you get me again. I'm going to get my swing off here and do some damage.
To his credit, he was disciplined. After they intentionally walked Jordan in the 4th, Hines came up and drew another walk. And now he's in a hole 0-2. Again, Hines has 7 home runs this year, but don't sniff at that now. He's got 45 career home runs. And there's a body of work here for Hunter Hines.
In less than 3 years, that's impressive numbers right there.
He's tied with a good friend of mine, Tommy Raffo, who played in the late 80s. Was in the Major League draft, was Tommy, drafted by the Fort Myers Miracle.
Swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Cade Fisher. That leadoff single is stranded at second with guys out in front of him. And it's the 3rd time, as Nick pointed out to us while he was in the on-deck circle, that he's come up with nobody on base. So he takes strike 1.
And that's something that, you know, you'd rather have Kaggs with a pitcher in the stretch position in a high leverage situation.
0-1 pitch. Big lollipop in there for strike 2. Shift for Kaggs as always. And the right fielder, by the way, Jordan, is almost into the bullpen. Good take. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And their bullpen's starting to heat up out there as you look at Jordan playing deep. A couple of steps from the track.
Caglione homered against Florida State in Jacksonville on Tuesday. Career number 52. Wow.
I tell you, it's that same plan of attack. I mean, Kaggs got jammed twice to the right side. They're not shying away from it right now. We're throwing you the best heater and getting on your hands.
2 weeks in a row, they're going after the best hitter on the other team by attacking inside. I'm talking about Cal Steven. That's how he went after Braden Montgomery, and that's how he's going after Kaggs tonight.
Hear a pin drop right now. Oh, he got a piece of it and then bobbled and caught by Long for the out. Okay, I know I've probably seen it before, but that's just something you don't see every day.
You do not see that every day. That's what you call squeezing it without squeezing it. That's a great play and focus by Long right there. That's a tough thing to do.
So Kaggs down on strikes for the first time tonight. And Long and Steven, the battery here, have 1 out, nobody on for Shelnut.
And also talking to Coach Lemonis before the game too, it's like, what do you do with Kaggs? It's like, nobody's pitched to him. They've tried not to. We're not going to either. Well, the game has shifted. You know, the game within the game where Kaggs has come to the plate twice now with nobody on base. That's where we go right at him. What's the worst thing that can happen? 1 run on the board?
Showing up batting just over 302 up to the moment.
And really, there's very few pitchers that have faced Cags. Of course, Carson Ligon faced him a couple of years in a row. Actually, just last year when he pitched for the University of Miami, and Cags hit 2 home runs against him.
Over but low.
And Coach Lamotis went to Ligon. He said, "How'd you do against Cags?" He said, "Not too good."
That list is long, my friend.
Yes, it is. It's a distinguished list.
Sheldon taking all the way. 1 out. Gators down 5-2. Their only runs have been via the long ball. Home run by Evans in the first. Garrison's first of the year came in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Cal Stephen has gone the whole way here for Mississippi State, and he gets the count full here at 3-2. That was pitch number 90 on the night for Cal Stephen.
And his velo's still up, though.
I mean, a 3-1 count. You're down by 3 with a fastball right down the plate. He's not trying to give you a free base.
Right at the left fielder. Downs without number 2. That ball was smacked, but right at a well-positioned.
Yeah, straight challenge with the 3-run lead. Good things will happen with your defense back there. So I always talk about walks. There's no defense for a base on balls, but this Cal Stephen tonight throwing his strikes.
Liam Peterson on the mound tomorrow for Florida. Same start time as tonight, 6:30 Eastern time. The series concludes on Sunday at 1 o'clock, Easter Sunday. The Gators have won 14 consecutive regular season 3-game series here at home.
I'm going to preview a guy that Mississippi State has in their bullpen. And that's Cam Schulke. Wait till you see this guy. I mean,
talk about athletic.
I don't know how he pitches from like 9 different angles.
2-0 to Curlin.
Did you see that one play? It was a bunt or a soft hit ball to the left side over by third base. Slides perfectly, comes up, just makes an unbelievable play.
There's
look at
your
it.
guy.
There he is.
There he is.
That's one of maybe 9 different arm slots he's going to throw from.
That's one of the more athletic guys I've ever seen on the mound.
Yeah, he's something to see.
2-1.
Actually, on the stat sheet right here, he has 3 different fastball velocities from 3 different arm angles.
He is sub 60 on some of his pitches, like 66, 67 miles an hour.
Does he throw an old Ephus pitch?
Yeah, well, he's down there. He's lower than Dan Quisenberry. Like, he knuckle scrapes a couple of them, and then he goes regular sidearm. They say he's got 9 different pitches, 3 from each arm angle.
Curlin hanging tough there. That came out of his hands. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So how can you be a good 2-strike hitter here for a guy that's had a high strikeout rate?
Yeah, got to shorten it up and just hit it where it's pitched. Easier said than done, of course.
Pitch number 97 on the edge. Strike 3 called. Gators go on their season. This is game number 25 tonight for Florida. Game number 27 for Mississippi State. Cade Fisher back to work, and first pitch swinging here out of the gate in the 7th is Connor Hysack.
The SEC is as impressive as it's ever been right now. I mean, you look at up and down the board on the East and the West. I mean, there are just talented team after talented team, and not only just talented, but obviously successful
and a lot of parity in this conference. It's to win 2 out of 3 in a series is getting something done this year for sure.
Well, we talk about then the value of home and away. Okay, so Kevin O'Sullivan last week, it's 2 out of 3 at LSU. I mean, that's
huge.
That's huge.
Yeah.
But then you got to come home here and make sure you take care of your own yard.
Going into LSU, the hardest, if not the hardest place to play in the league.
Interesting conversation we can have about that. How about at Arkansas right now?
See, I've never been to either, so it's hard for me to say, but being in Omaha, that was not an easy place to play, and it was full of LSU fans, so I can only imagine how it's 100% full of LSU fans at their own park.
We got LSU at Arkansas this weekend, and Arkansas passes the eye test right now.
Yeah,
they are something to watch.
Yeah, and Coach Van Horn has done such a great job, with his consistency. We talk about Sully's consistency, which is amazing, especially in this conference. And Coach Van Horn, he came close to winning it. And I'm talking the College World Series winning it.
Yep. First pitch to Aaron Downs in there for a strike. Single, hit by pitch, run scored. He struck out his last time up. 340 hitter. This is the 6th spot in the lineup for Mississippi State.
Yeah, you got to avoid tack-on runs here if you're the Gators, especially the way the pitching has gone so far for Mississippi State, because Cal Stevens has been as advertised.
Yeah, he's up over 90 pitches. Steven is. We'll see if he comes out in the bottom of the 7th. That ball is shot out of play to the right.
Yeah, and Steven, most that he's thrown this year is 104, and that was last week against the Aggies.
6 2/3, right?
Yep, 6 2/3, gave up only 1 run.
And the guys that the Gators are supposed to get, the bottom part of the order guys, struggled with tonight with walks, hit by pitches, and base hits to really give those guys at the top of the order a chance to drive runs in. And that's really what's killed the Gators and the Gators pitching staff tonight. So, Cade's really got to bear down and get his guys right here.
Fisher has been pretty good since he came in. Now, he came in with the bases loaded. Got a fly ball out, but that scored a run on a sacrifice. Then they had to intentionally walk Dakota Jordan, but then the walk to Hines delivered another run. Since then, guys, Fisher's been pretty darn good. Big pitch there, called strike 3. 4th strikeout for Cade Fisher tonight. 1 gone in the top of the 7th.
And he's been good because he can find that glove side fastball, which is his strength. I mean, obviously staying on top of this pitch, ripping his front side down and really driving it in on the righty's knee. That's a tough pitch to hit and see as a hitter.
Downs down on strikes for the 2nd time tonight. And now Logan Kohler, who has struck out twice tonight, but had a base hit in that 4th inning. They scored 4 runs, sent 10 to the plate. That's the difference in the ball game right now. Gators have not scored since the 3rd, the Garrison home run.
This has been a prototypical Friday night game in the SEC. I mean, a really good pitching duel in a sense. I mean, it's been a collab between Cade Fisher and Neely and Steven on the other side. Just 2 good pitching matchups right now. Low scoring game going into the bottom or the last third of the game. It's going to be interesting how it pans out.
That last pitch at 79 miles an hour. Big crowd awaits a 1-2 pitch. Runner going outside, throw by Garrison off the mark. 2nd stolen base tonight for the Bulldogs. That's Hysak's 5th of the year. They have not caught him. 5 for 5.
Yeah, and they've come in now. They're on the season. They're 33 for 36. So they're a team that will force it. And the jump right here looks good. The takeaway is good. I love the fact that he doesn't look in. But when you have a 3-run lead, you could do that. You could press the issue.
And to Cade Fisher's credit, not rattled by that, gets a big swing and a miss. 2nd strikeout of the inning, back-to-back strikeouts, and Kevin O'Sullivan is going to go to the bullpen here and work a matchup with Bryce Chance coming to the plate.
Yeah, another big pitch by Cade to get a strikeout right there, but once again having to.
He will face Bryce Chance, the designated hitter. And the first to him is ball 1. 1 for 3 tonight. Chance, the DH, in on the right side.
Jameson, that guy that has been one of David Kopp's products where he's really switched in and out his arm slot.
And an RBI as he shoots it out in the center, and in to score is Hysak. So twice the Bulldogs have stolen a base to put a man in scoring position, and each time he's come around.
And that's a big hit for Chance. It was hitting a $136 with 2 outs on the season to find a hole up the middle. Big 2-out base hit. He goes down and gets it. Nice little genuflection down there to meet it. That's a good piece of hitting.
That run is charged to Fisher. And Jamison facing the 9-hole hitter now, Johnny Long, who's had a very good day.
And with runs hard to come by for the Gators right now, tacking on 1 each inning for the Bulldogs is super huge going towards the end of the game.
6-2, modest lead at first. That one loops in there for strike one.
Yeah, you don't want to lose focus here because they got the big 2-out hit. This thing can escalate even with 2 outs if you don't settle down.
Curlin, who is shifted toward the bag, backhands and makes the throw to first. 1 run on 2 hits. A man left here in the top of the 7th. Started his college career at the College of Central Florida and now lives in Starkville, Mississippi. And Luke Heyman's the first to have a look. Looked like a rise pitch that you'd see across the street at the softball stadium.
That's the old Frisbee.
The old Frisbee.
Playing disc golf out here.
0 for 2 is Luke Heyman tonight. Both the pop-ups at the knees for strike one. He was a junior college first-team All-American last year, Schulke, at College of Central Florida.
They won the JUCO World Series. Marty Smith, great job there.
Breaking ball, popped up, foul territory. Hines has room. 1 out.
And that's what Schulke's going to do. He's not really going to blow you by with strikeouts and crazy stuff, but he's just going to get weak contact after weak contact, and that's the name of the game for pitchers like that, is just keep guys off balance, get weak contact, and eat up outs.
Yeah, anybody that's throwing under 70 miles an hour, it's just a different animal as a hitter. It's just something you're just not used to facing.
He pitched midweek this week against Samford. That was his longest outing of the season, 3 2/3 inning.
He's one of those guys, he could probably give you 3 innings every day with that arm slot. I mean, I'm sure this will not be the only time we see him this weekend.
Got a pinch hitter here, gentlemen. Freshman Hayden Yost is going to grab a bat and come up on the left side.
Yeah, out of Sickles High School.
He is batting in the place of Dale Thomas, who was 0 for 2 tonight. So they go from a right-handed hitter to a left, and a strike to start Yost.
That Sickles High School program down in Citrus Park in the Tampa area, they produce a lot of good ball players.
Would you be surprised if I told you the Gators are looking for their first pinch hit of the year?
I would be.
Surprise.
And what Schulke's doing out there too, I mean, it's not a normal act by any stretch, but you look at softball, how these pitchers can throw many games back to back over and over. I mean, you talk, Nick, about how he can throw 3 innings a day. It's not overhead. You don't have all that pressure on your elbow and your shoulder. I mean, you're down below. It's a lot less stress on your arm, where he can throw many innings per day and multiple days in a row.
Yost lays off. Count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tanner Garrison is in the on-deck circle for Florida. The Gators catcher homered earlier tonight. You think this is interesting? Wait till tomorrow night when the starter takes the bump from Mississippi State and throws it either with either arm.
Either arm, exactly.
Definitely not something you see every day, that's for sure.
Pitch clock violation here, right?
Go.
3 and 2 now.
Ron Teague behind the plate on top of it.
That's what you get when you have to go through 10 pitches to figure out which one he wants to throw.
3-2 now to Yost. Breaking ball is ball 4. He got a base runner here with 1 out.
Hey, any way you can.
Hey, look, and I know we were just kind of being surprised at the fact that the Gators have yet to get a pinch hit. That's as good as one right there.
Absolutely.
Pinch hit walk based on balls here.
We've talked about it. It's almost better.
Yeah, it deflates the defense usually.
Quick throw over, and Yost is picked off first base.
Oh, boy.
Told you the kid's an athlete, man. He's got quick feet. He looks to me like a position player on the mound right now, and just tooling with the other team.
Gators are going to challenge this, but you know the situation down 4. Obviously, the last thing you want is this. I don't know. See, his foot got in the way of that shot that we saw, so I don't know if that's going to be one that you can overturn. Remember, the call is out.
Yeah, call on the field is out. Review underway at the big video room in Birmingham.
That shot we just saw probably won't overturn it. I don't know if there's another shot they have that they're looking at.
I think the only way is if he swipes by and it's right over his arm, if you have a clear angle of that, but this one, it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, and watch, the foot's going to be in the way, so it's not, you're not going to be able to really see where his hand was. So, let's see if we get a better angle here. Yeah, that's
That
going
call's going to stand.
Yeah, that's going to be tough to overturn that one.
The field is confirmed, is an out. Florida has one more challenge.
So now 2 outs and nobody on. And I was literally loading my breath with the bottom of the order can set up the top of the order for the first time tonight, and that erases that. So Garrison 2 for 2. Have a day. Number 26. Kind of a change in there. Strike one. Hunter Jones is warming in the Bulldog bullpen. Again, we told you that Schulke did throw 3 2/3 midweek for his longest outing of the year. Frisbee toss in there for strike one.
Yeah,
beg your pardon, strike two.
Yeah, it's just it's a lulls you to sleep as a hitter.
I mean, any really good hitter goes up there kind of sitting on a pitch. I don't know how you can do that here. Because who knows, you might not even get it. I mean, he can throw 5 other pitches before you even get yours.
That one was at 69 miles an hour.
I guess the only guy that knows that what's coming is the catcher.
And maybe he doesn't.
Yeah, true. 1-2. Patient. Nice cut to stay alive.
I said Schulke played for Central Florida Community College or State College. They won the JUCO World Series at Grand Junction. I got to play in that JUCO World Series for Miami-Dade. That was a great trip. You should look at Davis and Auger.
They don't have a whole lot of saves. Auger does have 2 of them. And Hines drops the baseball. He called off Schulke, who was in position to make the catch. I mean, that's kind of in and ready on the left side. And 2 outs and a strike here to start Robertson, who struck out and flied out in his previous 2 at-bats.
Boy, wouldn't you love to see Shelton get up here with a couple of men on base.
That's a very safe lead at first by Tanner Garrison. Here's the pitch. Bottom dropped out of that. And Robertson a hole.
Yeah, and if Robertson does get himself on base here, it'd be interesting to see how Chris Lemonis would play it. Chances are he probably pulls him with Shelton coming up.
Stayed with that, drives it into center, and a sliding catch made by Heisack.
What a grab.
And the Gators again scoreless since the 3rd. And despite the battery mate now for Blake Purnell, and the top of the order for the Mississippi State Bulldogs. And Larry taps one foul here to start things at the top of the 8th.
I can't remember the last time I did a game where 2 side armors were going against each other. It's been a while, especially in this conference.
Yes. And Larry hit one back to the mound his last time up. Now he's in a hole 0-2.
And they're hard to come by nowadays because all these kids that grow up, everybody's in the ear telling them they have to throw hard. Yep. And, you know, the guys don't throw hard from down there, or at least hard enough, or hard by baseball standards nowadays. So they are hard to come by.
Over but low.
Yeah, the side armors are like this era's version of the knuckleball. You don't see it much anymore.
Yeah, you don't see them. You don't see knuckleballs
that's
anymore at all.
Yeah,
at
that's
all.
what I'm saying. They've become extinct. There's a few of them left.
So 2-2 now to Amani Larry. David Mershon, the shortstop, next. Then Dakota Johnson, or Jordan rather, beg your pardon. 1, 2, and 3 in the Bulldogs order. Bulldogs 3-3 in conference play. Trying to take game 1 here tonight. Up by 4, and that caught the umpire's mask.
You know, the last big knuckleball you remember that has an SEC tie is R.A. Dickey. You know, when he was a power pitcher at Tennessee until he hurt his arm, and you can see this pitch right there. And he became a huge pitcher in the big leagues, very successful. You know how that feels.
When was the last time you saw a backswing catch the umpire's mask?
I don't know that I've ever seen that.
I don't know either.
Ron Teague, he's a tough one. Ron Teague, the umpire, he's the director of umpires for the American Association. Is one of the better, if not arguably the best independent league out there.
2-2 from Purnell. And he'll get toward the third base dugout. New baseball for Blake Purnell.
Of course, I played with a knuckleballer. He wasn't a knuckleball at the time. It was Tom Candiotti. Played in the minor leagues with him when he was a heavy sink pitcher till he hurt his arm.
Strike 3 called. Down on strikes for the second time tonight is the leadoff hitter, Amani Larry.
There you go, Blake.
And that's been the big thing for Blake, too, is that he had such a successful freshman year. Got caught with some strike throwing troubles last year, and this year was really just all about throwing strikes, tunneling his pitches in a little bit different of a way, getting on the mound a little bit differently on the rubber.
And
So
that pitch right there, BT, his freshman year was, you saw it. I mean, it was that little sinker that would backdoor a right-handed hitter, then he would slider him right on right.
Well, that's as a sidearmer, that's got to be your bread and butter. I mean, you got to be able to sink that ball down and in on righties and be able to spin a few sliders here and there to, get them off your fastball, but that's got to be your bread and butter.
It's 2 walks to 11 strikeouts now for Purnell this season. This guy's been a load. Mershon, even at times that the Gators have got him, it's been a battle, including the line out to Curlin his last time up.
Yeah, unless he hits a double here, you're going to end up having to face Jordan, who's on deck.
1-1. Well, I would be glad to see Jordan come up with nobody on base as well for the seemingly the first time tonight. It would be actually the second because they faced Jordan in the first. That was a 1-2-3 inning. That's how Brandon Neely's night started here in the new role as a Friday night starter. Is there a conversation now about whether you continue with Neely as the Friday night starter?
Yeah,
or is this incomplete?
No, I think you keep going because you got to stretch him out and get him more comfortable. Like he'll get back in that mode. Yes, you got to keep up with it. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't think this was a one-time deal. I think this was a seasonal. This is what we're going to do. And once you stretch Neely out, he proved that he could be a starter in this league, and he wants to do it. So, he's going to get every opportunity going forward.
Payoff pitch inside. Ball 4, 1-out walk. And that'll bring Jordan to the plate with a man in front of him.
And obviously before the season, Neely wanted to be a starter in that role. I think he's earned that. He took on that closer role last year and did a heck of a job. Was an All-American, but it's really comfortable and comforting to know that you have a guy at the back end of your pen to close out a game, and you can rely on him. So it's hard to move him out of that role into a starter. He wants to be a starter. He wants to be a starter in pro ball when he moves on from Florida. So, I think the writing was on the wall. If something were to happen where a starter didn't do as well as they should, to move into that role, it happened to be Friday night. But to Nick's point, I think this is something that's going to stick for the rest of the year, and he's just going to have to pick up on that endurance and throw better. Pitch
out, and this is that balancing act. Nick Belmonte, you've got Mershon, who's got a stolen base tonight. He's 9 for 9. You've got their best hitter at the plate, Dakota Jordan.
Well, and you got Hunter Hines on deck, who I don't know if I don't see anybody up in the Gator pen ready to go. So you're going to be thinking twice about walking him if he steals second with Hines on deck. So my answer to your question is, I'd be stealing right here.
2-0 count now to Dakota Jordan. He's been intentionally walked twice tonight. And by the way, that next start for Neely would be Friday night in Columbia, Missouri next week against the Tigers. Back to the mound, slowed. They'll get the force on the lead runner as Mershon, I think, tried to make a decision and the body didn't follow. He stumbles here, freezing, and even with the ball slowed up by Purnell, they get the force out at second base. Jordan aboard, obviously, with a fielder's choice.
Well, I think what he was trying to decide is whether Curlin was going to come over and try to tag him. And then at that point, he stopped so he wouldn't see. That's what he was trying to decide right there. And then his foot went out for him. He stopped so that Curlin wouldn't come over, tag him, and then finish the play at first base.
Yeah, actually a really good job of base running. That's exactly what you teach. Never run into an out. Force them to tag you or toss the ball to second base.
So now Hunter Hines, 1 for 3 plus a walk, and he takes strike 1 from Blake Purnell.
And that was a big out for Purnell to get right there.
Yeah, it's 2 gone now. Trying to keep this a 4-run game. Top of the order for the Gators in the bottom of the 8th inning. Here's the next to Hines, over but low.
I mean, I know Jordan's had 2 intentional walks tonight, but the one positive from a Gators pitching staff is they've held their best players to almost nothing. You know, they haven't given up a whole lot of damage. They have walked some guys, they have hit some guys, but they have gotten out their best hitters.
Big high pop-up. 2 giving chase down the left field line. And it's going to drop foul. And Sheldon, who was in left, who had gone to third base, and Yost, who's in for the first time defensively tonight, can't get on the same page and make the third out.
For me, that's the outfielder's ball. He's got it coming in, and just didn't make I didn't call him off, I guess.
You know, in reality, there's a shift on the infield. That ball is the shortstop's ball all day long.
Right.
He's not in position to make that play. So to your point, Nick, that is such a hard play for a third baseman. The outfielder's got to come in and full on just lay out, put his body on the line and try to make an out. But the freshman will learn.
Yeah, let's see what Hunter Hines does with New Life out of Madison, Mississippi, a suburb just on the north side of Jackson, the state capital. Pitch. Back up the middle in the shift. Shelton gloves. Did he get the tag? He did. He applies a tag to Jordan to get the third out.
To show you how important those midweeks are and how much, you know, the coaches value winning those games as much as a Friday night game on the road.
And let's we're talking about the confidence that happens when you win those games.
Well, it takes the taste out of your mouth of, in their case, the series loss at Texas A&M on the prior weekend.
All right, I'll give you an example.
Sure.
We talked about this midweek. Bryce Chance is hitting 250. Well, he hit the big go-ahead home run against Sanford. You don't think he came in here a ball of confidence?
Sure. 2-0 here to Shelton, who's 0 for 2 tonight, but he did reach via walk his last time up. That was the 5th inning. This is just the 4th time he's come to the plate.
Super important to stack quality at-bats in a row. It doesn't matter whether it's a hard hit ball or anything. You have to stack quality at-bats in a row and get on base.
And Davis is all over the place here out of the bullpen.
I mean, I'm going to throw this up for discussion here, but I'm taking 2 strikes down 4 runs.
Oh, well, and look, to bolster your point, too, you had 3 hits the other night against Florida State. 2 of them belonged to Cags. You have 3 hits tonight. 2 of them belong to Tanner Garrison. So there's been not just a power outage, there's just been an outage period for the Gators offense.
You know, it seems as if just somebody has yet to be the guy or a collection of guys to say, you know what, enough of this. I am taking the initiative upon myself. I'm taking it upon myself to just start the inning out, start a rally, do something. I mean, have to have that passion or, you know, have that ability to put the entire team on your back and do it, and then people will follow me.
Well, the job is done by the leadoff hitter, Shelton. It's a 4-pitch walk. Brooks Auger, by the way, I would say, Nick, is he their shutdown guy? I mean, on the back end, I don't know if they've even established who that could be yet, but Auger is a candidate, and he is warming in their bullpen.
Yeah, he's basically been their closer. They don't have a per se closer, but he's a guy with 2 saves. So, yeah, he's been their back end.
So now Ty Evans, and that's 5 straight out of the zone by Davis.
Yeah, there's no reason to swing at anything until he decides he's going to throw a strike.
How about the take sign right here?
Yeah, right. I mean,
And Parker obviously had a very good relationship with them and got the most out of them and the best out of them. And, you know, I'm sure he's looking to do the exact same thing here, and I think he's done it.
And ball 6 now in the inning. Evans homered in the first. He has struck out twice since. Both times it ended in the inning for Florida. 2-0. 3-0.
Yeah, and here's a guy that Davis last year, Virginia Commonwealth, he was the back end guy over there.
The 8th inning has been kind to the Gators this year. We talked about how the first inning has been with 40 runs scored this year now in the first inning. Right? Not too far behind it is the 8th. The second highest scoring inning for Florida this year, 34 runs scored in the 8th. 3-1 pitch. Ball 4. 2 are on now for the Gators. Shelton to second base.
And I know you want Cags to hit so bad, but as long as Davis is in the game right now, you got to continue to take pitches and make him throw multiple strikes in a row.
I don't know if they stick with him. I just don't see it. I think Auger's going to come in to face Caglione. Sure enough, a visit to the mound will prompt the pitching change.
Well, nothing could turn the momentum of a game than 2 quick walks to get the crowd in. That's actually what happened to Florida State.
And now Jack Caglione, who's 0 for 3 tonight at the plate with 2 aboard. Shelton walked. He's at second. Evans at first. He walked. Strike one to Keggs.
One of the weird cases, too, where a righty has better splits on lefty hitters than righties. I mean, lefties are hitting 158 against him versus righties a little bit over 200. So a little bit different. That means he must have a pretty good off-speed pitch like a slider or a changeup mix.
That ball's a rocket off the first baseman Hines, scrambling to get a throw to the bag, and did just in time. Both runners advance, obviously, to second and third. But Hines didn't panic there. He took a whistler off the bat of Caglione, and Augers on the move quickly to cover the bag.
I mean, he just blows up another infielder because he hits it so hard. I mean, that ball's over 100 miles an hour, and he just sticks with it. Nice play defensively. But Keggs did all he could do. I mean, he hit that right on the screws. You can see he's upset at himself. But what else can he do?
That ball's hit so hard. Keggs is out by a full step.
I mean, super tough deal. I mean, you're Keggs, you're going up there to hit a ball hard. He did it, and Hines just did a really good job of just playing. You're minimizing damage, blocking the ball up, and get a guy out. It's really good job by Hines over there at first base.
I'll give you a little stat in the big leagues. Infielders that hit balls in the infield over 100 miles an hour, their batting averages are over 400 collectively.
Good fun fact there.
Yeah.
There's Shelnut. Rounds one to third. A run will score. It is 6-3. So Shelnut, who's reached base in a team-high 12 straight with a walk earlier tonight, puts it in play and does plate Shelton, who led off the inning with a walk.
Well, you got to pick up that other run at second base here.
That's one thing the Gators just haven't been able to do in the last few games. They get guys on base, and yeah, they score one run right there, but that's a chance for a big inning, and they just, one hit ball right at a guy, and the next ground ball, you get a run, but not really what you want.
Opportunity for Curlin. Did he swing? Yes. It's a strike call. And Evans did not advance from second. That ball kind of kicked to the third base side.
Yeah, and there's really no reason for Ty to do anything crazy with 2 outs and down 3.
Cade Curlin batting .300 with runners aboard, .381 with him in scoring position. Quickly now, 0-2 to Curlin as he shoots this one down the right side and well out of play.
And think about these Gator hitters. You're facing a guy that's throwing, 93, 94. Then you're facing a guy throwing in his 60s. Essentially, now you're back to 94, 95 here.
If Curlin can get on, Luke Heyman gets a chance here in the Gator 8th. Gators have 6 comeback wins this year. That one popped out of play as well.
Cade looks a little off. I mean, he's swinging with one hand almost like his swing's not even finishing, and he's swinging with one hand.
And to me, they're playing a little too deep for me in right field, especially with 2 strikes.
Drop one in the bucket here, and it's 6-4.
That's right.
That is a block, man.
That is
that kid can move back there. That's
a hockey goalie block right there.
And he's locked in too. He's getting right back down there. He's ready to go. It's just good, natural, real energy. It's not that fake stuff. I mean, that's good stuff back there.
Check that runner at second. Now the 1-2. That's ripped down the left field line. Evans will come around third at 6-4 and a 2-out RBI double for Cade Curlin.
Big knock by Cade right there. I mean, he's been late on heaters all day long, and Mississippi State's exploited that for him, but he just cheated a fastball right there. I know he did, and hooked it down the line and got another run on the board, another guy in scoring position.
Keeps his head on this one nicely, and that's a run you wanted to get right there.
And what did he do right there, Nick? Did he buggy whip it down the line?
That's what he did. He used to buggy whip him.
That's the only thing I did.
Well, I love it that Curlin and Evans trade places, and that brings Heyman to the plate, representing the potential tying run for the Gators here in the 8th.
If I'm Luke right here, you cheat another fastball, stay on top of it, don't do too much. Hasn't really thrown off-speed stuff for strikes right now. You're cheating a fastball, stay on top, and get a hard hit ball somewhere.
And don't look now, folks, tie and run at the plate.
Heyman's 0 for 3. Here's the 1-0. Kind of crossed up the catcher long a bit there. 2 balls and no strikes.
See, that's why that hit is so big, getting this into a 2-run game where you get one guy on and the tie and run comes up.
Big lead at second base. The pitch.
Yeah, they're not going to
inside
pay any
corner.
attention to Cade Curlin in this scenario right here because he's not going anywhere. Base hit, probably score him anyway.
Heyman batting just .255 with runners on.
Thinking a cross count slider right here.
The 2-1 pitch.
Nope.
Tried to snap one back through there, and now it's 3-1.
Long didn't like that. I think he wanted that for a strike.
It was a pretty good pitch, but again, I think the spot didn't quite hit the spot. Hit the zone, but maybe not the spot.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job receiving it right there and making it look like a strike.
95 miles an hour, and now it's full. 3-2 to Luke Heyman. Gators bullpen has Luke McNeely, the freshman right-hander, working. Nolan Stevens, the left-hander, up for Mississippi State. 2 outs, 2-run game. The payoff. Belted into right field, but right toward Jordan. Puts it away. Gators get 2 runs on a hit, a big double.
Get one man on base next inning. You got Shelton coming up representing the tie run, so it's so important you get the 0 here.
Right-handed bat, Connor Heisack to start it off in the 9th for Mississippi State. Right-handed hitting, .326 versus McNeely now this season. Again, got to throw out some of the early numbers.
Yeah, it's, you know, you get with these freshmen and the maturation process of how they are from the first part of the season to the middle to the end. And we've seen that with Gator pitchers through the years. I'll tell you one here after this pitch. I mean, Brandon Sproat 2 years ago, actually his sophomore year, it was the year after COVID, so it was kind of his freshman year. He didn't do much until the end of the year, and then all of a sudden he's like, who's this guy? And he just carried that into where he is now.
That's a wicked pitch right there.
And I don't want to jump the gun, but I think a lot of the reason why Brandon Neely moved into the starting role is because Kevin O'Sullivan had somebody else at the back end to fill that. And, you know, Luke McNeely might be that guy.
That's a big strikeout to start the 9th inning. Down on strikes, Heisack for the 2nd time tonight.
And you're not losing anything with stuff at the end of the game. I mean, to your point, Nick, he's got a mid-90s fastball. He's got 2 off-speed pitches that he throws for strikes, both very different from each other.
And it's that slider that just totally, the Jacksonville game we had midweek, he had 6 strikeouts, and he was just dominant in that one.
Now Aaron Downs takes strike 1.
And that pitch right there, that's a nasty first pitch strike. Get me over slider, but more than that.
Downs was getting out of the way of that pitch and it was right down the middle. Yeah.
0-1. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Got to catch that one a little better, Gary.
Has not allowed a run in his last 3 outings. Downs is 1 for 3 tonight. He's also been hit by a pitch. That's back in that 4th inning. It's bounced foul. You take away the 4th tonight, guys.
And BT and I were talking about this before the game. You know, when the catchers do that, I'm still going to call it framing because I know what we do in the Cubs organization. But I know here they call it receiving. But we say you'll know what we mean. But that's a big part of being a catcher nowadays.
Harrison wanted it down. It's right there. It had a lot of movement on it. Back-to-back strikeouts for McNeely.
Not really where Gary wanted that pitch. Obviously, you could tell he was really pointing down in the zone, but top shelf breaking ball got him. It's one of the harder pitches to hit in the game.
He brings that down. Look at that. Is that good receiving or framing? I'll take them both.
That's
right?
good framing.
That
right there,
baby. Now we're talking.
Don't get sucked into that Cubs stuff now.
Yeah. I'm a Braves guy. I can't do that. Dansby left us.
I don't know why they don't just hand you guys the World Series trophy now, right? Kohler shoots this one foul down the left side.
I don't know. I wouldn't knock out the Rangers with our boy anymore.
Well, we're going to talk about that before this is all said and done.
Are you going to change your mind when Josh Rivera makes it to the big leagues with the Cubs? You better say yes. Oh, I know the St. Louis guys.
You know what my answer is.
I know that.
Nibbling, trying to nibble there the edge. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wyatt Langford made his major league debut last night for the Rangers. 1 for 3, sacrifice as well. Strike 2 here to Kohler. 276 days between his last appearance in orange and blue to his major league debut. Wyatt Langford, congratulations. Here's the 1-2. See you later. Out on strikes is Kohler, and McNeely. The bottom of the 9th. Hayden Yost up for the 2nd time, but now here as a full participant as he came in defensively after his plate appearance in the 7th. And the freshman takes strike 1 at the knees. Yost drew a walk, but then was picked off. Not minutes, seconds later. It was out number 2 in the 7th. That's a really gutsy take.
That's a 96 followed by a 93.
Brooks Auger on the mound for Mississippi State. 2-2.
It looks like just straight gas, and there's really no reason other than the challenge, especially with a 2-run lead.
Absolutely, go right at him. If I'm Yost, you gotta hit his best heater.
No one pops down the right side and into the berm. So 2-2. Gators plated 2 runs in the 8th inning. Auger came in, got a couple of ground outs, but then a double by Curlin. That plated the 4th run of the game for Florida. That one is smoked the opposite way. Opposite field base hit to start it off. And Hayden Yost, who came in to pinch hit in the 7th, has reached twice.
And that's that runner that will give Shelton a chance, perhaps, to win it, or at least tie it. And that's a great job. The pitch is left up, but look at him stay down. And this is after going after 96-mile-an-hour pitches, just missing them and just hitting it where it's pitched. Great piece of hitting by the freshman.
That's super impressive, too. I mean, he was pounding him in, up in the zone, up on his hands, gets a fastball out over the plate, and doesn't try to cheat the heater in, but just stay to his approach and flick a ball the other way and get on base. That's a great job by the young freshman.
So Kevin O'Sullivan now will send a left-handed bat up to pinch hit for Tanner Garrison. Armando Albert, you get the right versus left. And ball 1 to start the young infielder. Young by Gator standards. Veteran transfer.
You know, more than just right on left, I think you're looking to just stack quality at-bats like I've said before, and this guy's going to give you a quality at-bat. He's going to see a bunch of pitches. He's not going to swing at much out of the zone. Potentially put a ball in play and get something else going.
It's a decision here to get the matchup. Garrison had reached 3 times tonight and lifted here in the bottom of the 9th. 1-1. Make it 1-2.
And I see a steady diet of fastballs at 95 because one of the things they could do defensively here, they don't necessarily need to hold the runner on. They could back him off with the 2-run lead and the left-handed hitter up. It's not like you're going to chance it by sending your guy down to second base. Not with Shelton in the looming in the next couple hitters. And that's what I always look for in a game in this situation because you still got you're leaving that right side open right now if he can get something to the inner half.
Robertson on deck. Albert is 0 for his last 6. 2-2 pitch. Full count. Nolan Stevens, a left-hander, is warming and is now ready in the Mississippi State bullpen. Robertson's a left-handed bat coming up for Florida. Tying run at the plate for the Gators.
Auger not throwing many off-speed pitches for strikes here. I'm looking for a heater right over the middle of the plate.
Sends it back to the screen on ball 4.
And he almost got a ball called because of the time. The catcher Long is saying, come, you need to throw the pitch right now, and lost it. He just wasn't on time.
And he could have done a disengagement.
He could have. He could have taken his one disengagement.
And that's a mental mistake right here because you could take the disengagement.
Clock in the left-hand corner there showed it was approaching zeros. So 2 pinch hit walks.
Huge miscue.
Over on the first base side. Robertson squares. Pop the bunt up. It's going to hit the screen. Strike 1 to Robertson.
All right, for me on the bunting piece, especially on a sacrifice, you're just going to bunt the ball to third base, meaning show the bunt early. There's no surprises here.
And he was running out of the box,
too. Yeah, just show it early. Get it on the ground and show it early.
I know you don't actually want to do this.
There we go. There you go.
Fouled that one back, too. That was a defensive approach.
I know you don't actually want to do this, but the thought process my entire career that I've been taught from any good bunting coach that's ever been around, the thought process is you put the bunt down and you walk to the dugout and your job's done.
Absolutely.
You don't think about anything else. I put the perfect bunt on the left side, and I walk to the dugout, and that's it.
The coach wants you to make an out. That's why it's called a sacrifice. He wants you to make the out. And you got to keep the angle of that bat. The one that he just fouled off 2 pitches ago, that was just too high. Those are the ones you need to take.
Well, he showed there on 2 strikes, whether he was going to do something with it or not.
And we've seen Sully do that with him with 2 strikes.
And right now, it's got Auger up out of the zone 2 times in a row.
Yeah, and we've seen Sully do this with Robertson. That's going to say, look, your job's to bunt. You're there for the duration. Now, it could change from pitch to pitch, but I'm thinking he's up there for one job.
First baseman Hines creeping. The 2-2. Bunted it. Foul. So Robertson strikes out. 1 gone in the bottom of the 9th inning. So we'll go to the top of the order now for Florida and Colby Shelton.
Well, one swing at a bat here could send us all home.
He's done it before.
12 home runs on the year, team best. He has walked each of his last 2 plate appearances. And time called by Long, the catcher.
Auger fastball heavy, and Shelton's a fastball hitter up in the zone, so does play into the Gators' favor right here.
And defensively, they've got to play their defense back in the outfield. No doubles. And we've seen Colby hit home runs to all fields.
We've also seen Colby have several game-winning RBIs this season, including this past Sunday. His 2-run home run proved to be the difference in what was a run rule game. Here's Parker out of the dugout for Mississippi State. Got one out there at second base. The important run is the one at first. First to Shelton. Breaking ball in there for strike 1.
Yeah, he's going to come in here and throw off-speed pitches with the lefty up and Shelton. But, you know, those 3 walks that you said, Nick, I mean, the guy's going to throw strikes. He's not going to, you know, spray everywhere. I mean, he's going to come in and throw strikes. You got to be ready to hit something over the plate.
Gators hoping he hangs one here.
The 0-1 to Colby. Swing and a miss. More of the off-speed variety. Stevens made his Mississippi State debut not as a pitcher, but as a pinch hitter. Oh, 2 in the dirt. Oh, what a night behind the dish. Both Garrison for the Gators and Long for Mississippi State.
And think about that. That just saved 180 feet of base running right there and kept the potential tie run at first.
And eliminated a double play ball potentially.
Yeah.
Check the runners. Kicking a 1-2. Got him. 2 gone, and the Gators are down 2 it now. Ty Evans is next.
He does such a great job selling that slider. I mean, he really gets extension here, and it just looks fastball out of the hand, and then you just sell out on it.
To me, if that pitch is 2 pitches earlier, he probably hits that. Shelton does, but the fact that he spun 2 down and away in the zone, bounced it, you know, in front of the plate for a strikeout pitch, and then comes back with the hang me one. He's not expecting it, so that was a really good job right there.
Evans rips one into left field. 1 run's going to score. Round third is Yost. 6-5. The tying run moves to second base.
Part of me was saying, keep the runners at first and second, so you got to pitch to Kaggs.
Worked out for you.
Yeah, it did.
Sure
now
did.
we finally get to see Kaggs with somebody on base instead of leading off an inning.
Well, Ty Evans hitting over 400 now with runners in scoring position.
And give credit to Ty Evans. He's watching what's going on. He's seeing all the off-speed pitches, so he's sitting on it, the first pitch off-speed, and just buggy whips it to left field.
Caglione at the plate. 6-5 ball game. 2 aboard, 2 outs. The pitch. Smoked foul. Look out down at the far end of that first base dugout.
And, you know, the matchup here was definitely Stevens for Shelton. Tybo, that's the perfect guy for him. He hits those sliders that lefty throws in on him. He's really good at hitting that. And now for Kaggs.
There's a look at the shift, and in reverse split here, Caglione's hitting .408 against left-handed pitching, .396 versus right. 0-1 pitch. Off the end of the bat. Booted by the third baseman. Everybody's safe. Well, that's not what you expected.
I think the spin rate on the ball off the bat was higher than the one to the plate.
You're not kidding.
He caps this, and this is tough for an infielder to get because he gets him out front, he caps the ball, and this ball, as you said, the spin rate, about 2,500 revolutions on this one. And
I mean, people think that's an easy play or whatnot. That ball's hit down the line. He's running full speed to go grab it, and it's spinning back towards where you were just running at. So he has to glove that and try to, make a play, either a throw to first or to go tag the base and solidify the game. I mean, that's a tough play for the third baseman right there.
And think about that. If Kohler doesn't knock that thing down, we got a tie ball game right now. So with spin and all, he did a great job just keeping it in the infield.
They've given Caglione a hit on that play. Bases now loaded. The tying run at third, winning run at second, and Tyler Shelnut to the plate. The pitch, low for a ball. And a good block again by Long behind the dish.
Base on balls ties this one too for a guy that hasn't walked hardly any all the year, and a great stop by Long.
Shelnut looking for his first hit tonight. His walk back in the fourth gives him now a team-high 12 straight games having reached base. The 1-0 pitch. Fouled back, 1-1.
Boy, is this a typical SEC game tonight? Big crowd, two great programs.
Shelley 0 for 3 tonight with a walk, but he's due. I mean, he's had some good swings.
11 for 25 with runners in scoring position. That's 440. The 1-1. In the dirt. 2 balls and a strike. A walk ties it. Still early in this count. Sorry.
I mean, if I'm Mississippi State and I'm Coach Parker down there, you got to throw a ball over the plate. I mean, you can take a chance and throw a spinner and try to get a swing and miss, but you really got to go at him. You can't walk in the tying run.
And Johnny Long grinding behind the plate, keeping that ball in front.
2-2. This game started with a last name of Steven on the mound for Mississippi State. It could end here with the last name Stevens. Nolan Stevens facing Tyler Shelnut. Game on the line, 2 outs. And the 2-2 pitch. After a big, deep breath. It's on the way. Make it full. How dramatic is this?
I mean, if you're Shelnut, you have to sell out for a heater here. You have to sell out for a heater.
And this is a guy that throws a steady diet of breaking balls.
You have to sell out for a heater, and you can't take a fastball over the plate.
Listen to this crowd. Payoff pitch on the way. Ball 4. This game is tied.
Breaking ball.
You know a thing or two there, Nick, huh? Sell out for a heater, and if he spins anything to you, tip your cap, make him throw it for a strike.
I mean, that is his bread and butter pitch. I was saying last week, he threw 70% breaking balls, but 3-2, he's going breaking balls. It's not even close.
Too.
And now Gators have a chance to win it.
And you talk about home field advantage. I mean, this crowd's really got involved this inning.
And Curlin, who doubled in the 8th and drove in a run, calls for time. Or no, he didn't get in the box fast enough. And so he's down a strike already. And Kevin O'Sullivan's out of the dugout.
This might work in the Gators' advantage, icing the pitcher right here.
Yeah, look at Stevens walking around the mound like, what's going on?
Again, keep your eye on the clock. It's not about where it hits 0. It's about where it
got to be
when
in
he finally engages.
10 seconds is where he's got to be.
Yeah, he wasn't in yet.
Yep. Well, takes to the stickler on that clock tonight. Now 0-1. Winning run is at third and Ty Evans. The pitch. Fouled it back. Gators down to a strike here. Extra innings on tap if Curlin can't deliver. Gators with 6 comeback wins this season.
And Cade, if he ends up swinging at a pitch that goes as a wild pitch, bust it down the line. But he's thinking base hit right here.
The 0-2. Chop this one up for the Gators. Ty Evans scores. 7-6 the final. Florida wins game 1 of the series with 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning, and they're mobbing Kurland out in the outfield.